T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes,
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it.
You are now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast in the world. Welcome to the Trap Talk Reptile Podcast, episode 390. We are in Chondro Town. I'm your boy MJ. We have Bill Stegall, the mayor.
What's up?
And Alex Warren.
Check.
Hey, guys, if you can't hear Alex, let me know. I'll turn his volume up, but it's pretty fucking high. But he's here. The mayor's here. I'm here in Chondro Town. What is good, everybody? This is your first time tapping in. First and foremost, thank you for being here. It means a lot. With two people that I love chopping it up with about chondros, which we're going to talk about tonight. But first and foremost, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell, select all. You'll be on top of every single podcast I drop here. But fuck, Bill!
We're going to tear it up.
We're going to tear it up! Oh, my God. Can you get a little more energy, Alex?
This is as high as it
Yeah, I like that. Hey, first and foremost, UK's in the building. I got my boy Sal, who just, I mean, can we show some of this shit off real quick, bro? Hold on.
Look.
You go first.
All right. So Sal brought a care package to several of us here, including this incredible shirt. Sal wins the contest for traveling the farthest to come to obviously the podcast tonight, the party tomorrow, and then he'll be here for the Arlington and ARBC.
Can we give this guy's merch some fucking props though, man?
Yeah,
I mean, like,
he's got the
we got
shirt,
stickers, we got keychain. Why aren't keychains being made more? Like this?
Look at this. We got a fucking picture too.
I didn't get one of those. What the fuck?
Well, badass.
Okay, we're gonna have to talk about this now. Wait, this is sick. This is you know what? Hold on, Sal, come on. You're gonna have a seat right here, buddy.
Come on,
Sal, ladies and gentlemen.
Come on, Sal, from the UK. Cryptic Condo.
Traveling is not easy, okay? So he's gonna get as much out of this as he can. Tell everyone how you're liking America so far, how much yard space everyone has.
It's unbelievable. The house is here, the space compared to what we have, and just it's humongous. Everything's on like a 10 times scale. Like the house is a space, the roads, the cars, everything's unbelievable. But it's been amazing. I've only been here one day, and it's been amazing. Travis, Alex, Bill, MJ, Patrick, everyone. So I can't wait to meet everyone else. But thank you all you guys for your hospitality and having me. So
this is just tip of the iceberg. Tomorrow, man. Tomorrow is going to be the going to be a great night.
And we're showing Sal the same amount of respect over here. Okay, coolest reptile podcast in the world that this guy's leaving with. Let's believe it. And bro, I love you so much, bro. I even brought you a retro pocket tee. I didn't even sell these. They're going on eBay for $30 right now.
Thank you so much.
Pocket tee, trapping is a sport. Please go follow my man, Cryptic Chondros. One of the fucking sickest dudes out of the UK right now working with chondros. And I'm just saying that's a fact right now, all right? So appreciate you so much. And I got to give props to the homie here, Travis, real quick, because Travis is the reason why homebody got picked up.
Travis.
Come on, Travis.
Come say hey.
This was built like a fucking guard for the Patriots. Christ. Travis in the building.
What's up, man?
Is it true you're really not from Texas?
No, I'm from Memphis. I'm from Memphis. I'm not in Texas, but hey, how y'all doing? It's nice out here, and they got good taxes.
Hey, like being here, you know, the mayor's turf and all that.
Oh man, I appreciate it. This is my second time being here. I appreciate the invite. Thank you again, Bill.
I'm so happy to have you here, man.
And Alan, and thank you, and MJ. I appreciate y'all. I think this is gonna be a good episode. You don't get to see this often, and enjoy it.
Yeah, and guys, go subscribe Chondro Bar Room on YouTube and go Mongrel Reptiles on Instagram, correct?
Yeah, this is Mongrel.
Yeah, my boy. There we go. That's my boy right here. Thank you so much, and thanks for taking care of the UK, homie, for bringing them in and
babysitting.
Baby,
or would you say bodyguard?
Bodyguard / chauffeur / Yelp review.
Back in Chondro Town. Here we are, boys. How we feeling? Cheers. Let me see that Coors Light. You're on that Marshall Mendez tip, I see.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, cheers to everyone out there. Thank you so much for tapping in. Chondro Mania about to go down tonight because I feel like the biggest sought after snake in any fucking category. I don't care if you're breeding geckos. I don't care if you're breeding ball pythons, rosy boas. You're looking for a fucking chondro right now. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, just from personal experience, popularity is never been greater. I mean, this will be the first year I've imported chondros out of the United States before, but this year 4 to Canada, 1 to Germany. It looks like probably I think we're lining up 1 to the UK. So it's just the popularity, the demand has been incredible, and it makes me so happy because I've been on this journey, for over a decade now to try to more mainstream these animals because they've had a reputation of being difficult to take care of and impossible to breed, and the babies are terrible. And, I think finally after 10 years, it's starting to punch through a little bit, to the reptile community that these things are, they're near the perfect animal, at least in my eyes.
Alex, you being more of the greener side of things of what we're speaking about, how do you feel about something that, like, I can honestly say you're not into this because of the hype? Like you really like low key, like, the saying the stars align, motherfucker, stars are so aligned for you right now. It's stupid. Definitely. But also like for you to kind of see where you're grounded out with things and seeing how the hype is, because it is kind of like a popularity thing right now. Like obviously the more podcasts have talked about it, the more work that you guys are showing, it's picking up steam. So how are you like accepting all this right now, as far as like everyone wants to work in the chondro game now, or everyone wants a chondro and stuff like that?
Yeah, it seems like it's done nothing but grow the 4 years I've been in it. And I think I got in it at a really good time. I met Bill at a really good time. I met him right as I was getting into it. So I didn't know anything except for what Bill showed me. And I think that's helped me a lot. It's helped me grow as a keeper and a breeder a lot.
That has to keep you like from being overhyped too, because you're being like, okay, hype is a lot of something that people are not too sure about. Like it's kind of like, wow, this is what I see, this is what I hear.
Yeah.
But you're seeing shit firsthand. So it's kind of like you're kind of knowing what the future holds if you just kind of stick to the fucking game plan.
Yeah, for sure. And I've definitely learned to grow it a lot slower than I originally thought. It's when I first got into it, I thought I was gonna, get a bunch of snakes right off the bat. And it's definitely better to grow it a lot slower,
Reptiles are a game of patience.
Yeah.
Like under the best case scenario.
Reptiles, period.
Reptiles, period.
Yeah.
Green tree,
yeah, especially
game of patience on steroids.
You don't have a choice.
You have to grow it slow.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice because
Well,
if
you can crash.
yeah,
you
if
can
you
crash
grow
animals.
it fast, you're gonna crash. There's
Here-
no other way.
Here's the thing about there's no other choice but patience in the Chondro game. Because if you're Mr. Timeline in the Chondro game,
Yeah.
a lot of those people you could tell, like, bro, you're kind of speeding up things a bit. Like you're already kind of predicting, like, you know, what you're trying to do when you just now got the neonate. You know, like
Yeah.
fucking enjoy it first. But those kind of people that put a timeline on their shoulders are the ones that like crash out when things don't work out in their timely matter, because now they feel like, you know, like, oh, they're not keeping up to a certain pace that they want. But there is no pace. Like the biggest pace is the Chondro's pace. Like you have no control but to go at their pace. And the biggest thing that you would agree with breeding Chondros is maturity, right?
Yeah.
Maturity and stability.
Right.
Maturity and stability. And, you know, I think it's one of the reasons why these things have really held their value monetarily wise, and held their value just as far as people not getting in and out of them. You know, not like, you know,
The typical stuff happening.
I'm into this species this year, or maybe for 2 years, and then I'm bored with it. I'm tired of it. I'm going to dump it. If you're into it, you have to be into it for the long haul, you know.
Yeah.
And most people that get a green tree, they stay in it for the long haul. At least that's been my experience.
Yeah, you know, and mainly tonight's episode is kind of breaking down the experience with having someone like Bill as a teacher, Alex. Like, you're in a different position than a lot of us, only because, like, yeah, you know, I'm friends with Bill, but I have to pick the fucking phone up.
Yeah.
Or I have to, like, you know, if I really need something from Bill, he has to FaceTime me, right?
Yeah.
But you could just come over here. But what is that doing with you and your project as far as pace goes? Like, at the end of the day, you are being patient with raising your stuff, but Bill wants to know why you're pairing in summertime.
We're going there already?
I'm sorry, but like
already?
Well, I'm just curious.
I don't see why not. I mean, you know, it's if they'll lock up, like I don't see why not. It's just kind of one of those things that it's more just an experimental type of thing. Like, if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. You know, if I have a bad clutch, then I probably wouldn't do it again.
Yeah.
But
It's not, but like, it's not just a question of them locking up.
yeah,
Because they'll lock up. You can get them to lock up. But is the female been properly cycled?
yeah.
So like,
yeah,
is she growing follicles, or are you locking her up when she has no follicles or pea-sized follicles?
How about we go with what was the first thing you saw to say you should pair him up?
Because I felt like it.
That's legit. I mean, because are we talking about a female that's laid for you before or not yet?
No, she's first time female.
So we really don't know what her cycle is.
We don't. She's also an import, so
she could be way off.
She could be, but
the plot thickens.
Yeah, but that's kind of the thing is that I mean
you're pairing an import when it's 100 degrees out.
Yeah.
Did it have mice?
Well, that's kind of the thing. I mean, you know, people get clutches year round. You know, it's not. It's you know, I've seen people get clutches all months of the year.
Right.
You know, and
in Texas too.
Yeah, you know, I got my clutch in December of last year. You know, after a year of pairing, you know, my clutch that I got this in December of last year, I paired for an entire year. I paired them a lot during the fall, like probably like, you know, once or twice a week in the fall and winter. And then as spring and summer rolled around, I probably paired them up like once every 3 to 4 weeks. And she finally went in the fall. So I think that it just depends. They're going to go whenever they're ready, you know, like if it takes, you know, another year for me to get another clutch, like I'll just continue pairing them.
Now you would say though, and this is, I'm putting myself definitely in the same category as being a noob when it comes to like learning and breeding chondros with Alex, but somebody like us who are willing to pair any time of the year kind of just shows you we're just trying to figure shit out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because you have seasoned people, like you're seasonal, like you know what time of year to put them together, what time not to, because that's how you have this from structure.
It's just what's worked for me.
Right.
And I absolutely agree with Alex. It can be done. Chondros have been hatched every month of the year.
Right.
But I'm a big believer in getting the female optimized, to pair and to lay eggs.
So it's, theoretically, let's put yourself in Alex's shoes, and let's say Alex was you. If you were, and let's say you have the knowledge that you have being built, right? But you're Alex in a sense. Are you saying that you would rather let those females go into the springtime and even if it's a first time female import, you have no idea what her cycle's like, you still feel like it's probably easier to put everything going together for you at least?
Well, for me, I like to use temperature manipulation as
drops and highs and all that.
Yeah, drops in the winter and the breeding to cycle the female. And so it's just easier for me to do that when the temperatures drop here.
Right.
And I think they can sense, even if you drop your room temperature, I think those things can sense what's going on outside.
Right.
I just think they can, whether it's a storm coming through or, just seasonal temperatures. I think they can sense what's going on outside your room.
Okay, so it's funny you say that because that's definitely the case. I have a quote unquote control temperature room, right? Like I can control the temperature of my room, but if I have an extreme hot day or an extreme cold day outside of that room, I have to make an adjustment in that room. Like there has to be something where that room feels the effect of what's happening outside.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I don't know. I just want to give these things the best chance of going. And going isn't just locks, and it's not just laying, because they could lock and they could lay slugs.
Right.
But I want these females in optimal condition. We can't control everything, but we can control what we can control. And what I can control is temperature, feeding, and light. Those are really the three things that I can control.
Alex, your first clutch was last year, right?
Yeah.
And so far you've only had the one clutch, right?
Yeah.
So that being said, like how do you feel about having everything going in the same time of the year? Like if you could pick having everything going at the same motion versus having it being spread out, what would you choose, you feel like, if you can?
Well, I mean, it's not like I'm getting 6 clutches a year.
Not yet.
So, I mean, if I get...
Not yet, motherfucker.
Not yet, right. Maybe one day. So...
Knock it off. Okay, just stop.
If I was getting 6 clutches a year, I definitely would be having seasons because I don't want to be establishing neonates throughout the entire year.
Okay, it's good. I love to hear that.
But as of right now, like, I don't, it doesn't really matter. Like I'll take a clutch whenever. Like it's, because the clutch is a clutch. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter what time. Like I would take it whenever.
Yeah, we're just rookies, bro.
I would take a clutch. I would take a clutch whenever too, as long as it's a good clutch. I mean, I think there's parts of me after, Alex will attest to this, beating my head against the wall because I'm establishing 60 babies in a 2-month period.
Yeah.
And, there's a part of me that would like, wow, wouldn't it be nice if I just was establishing 1 clutch now, and another clutch in a month, and another one after that in another month. But that's just, it's not.
But is that how you sell 60K worth of chondros?
I'm just talking about establishing them.
Well, I'm just saying that, like, establishing has a purpose. Establishing, like, the banging your head against the wall obviously led somewhere. Like, that's like, you're doing it for a reason.
Yeah, it's a love-hate relationship sometimes with these things, But I would like to have spread it out a little bit over a few more months.
Right.
But I will take what I was given, and I was given a lot this year and blessed this year, and I'm not complaining at all. And I was lucky to have Alex's help, in establishing the most animals that I've ever produced in a year.
So yeah, this is the biggest year for Phoenix Reptiles, you would say, chondro wise.
Yeah, by far. Last year, I think I had 4 clutches, but 1 went bad. 30 babies. This year, 60 babies. So that's a lot. In addition to the other stuff I'm keeping and breeding and getting established here.
What do you think maybe worked for you this year as far as establishing versus previous years? Like I just had David Brahms on, and David Brahms was like, bro, if I have a runner, I don't even fuck around with that thing. I go straight to assist feed, right? And I was like, well, that makes sense. But was there anything maybe you did this year to kind of help you not have to worry about spending a lot of extra time establishing something, and like I don't know, or do you think you just had like a lot better luck this year with everything?
I got Alex involved.
So Alex, maybe you could talk on it then. Alex,
I mean,
Alex,
there are plenty of times in a clutch where I would say, "Hey, Alex, you want to work with these two? They're real dickheads."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I would send him over, and more times than not, he would get them going. So
Yeah.
I've been very fortunate to have his help. But I agree with David's comment. I do not fuck around anymore with runners or like let's work an hour and a half to get a pink head in. I just grab them off the perch, assist feed them, and we'll work again in 5 days.
Now let me ask you this, Alex, since you're kind of in that position where like fuck, Bill can hit you up at any point, like Alex, get this thing to fucking eat, bro, because I can't do it. How do you approach something like that? Like, are you more like embracing the challenge? Like, do you want to fucking see if this thing will actually refuse, or do you like go into everything knowing that you're going to get it to eat?
Well, I mean, obviously I try my best with it. I don't necessarily have like a certain mindset towards it. If he has trouble getting one to eat, I'll take it to my house and, I do my certain strategy on it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then I take it back. And sometimes just the move is the real key to it. Sometimes doing it at night is the key to it. It just depends on what it is. And it just depends on the animal itself.
Now, how much of that does that kind of compute to you as far as like just putting the snake in a different environment? Because you have a lot of people, Bill, that say, put your snake in a car and fucking, act like you're taking it somewhere. But like, how much has that actually worked for you, Bill, from what you've seen?
I think it's really about 50-50. I think, half of the time, maybe it's a change of venue, but I'll work with some animals here that I can't get to eat, and then Alex will work with them here and get them to eat. So, I think they're just very slight nuances and technique can make a difference. So it's just kind of all over the board. I think one of the things that we should talk about, everybody loves to talk about picky feeding neo green trees, but the fact of the matter is most of these things are going to eat the first time you offer them food.
Most of them. I would say at least 50%. If you chick down scent them and you give them some subtle teasing, at least 50% are going to eat on their own. So why?
Probably more than that. Probably more than that.
I'd say
Yeah.
probably 75% or 80%.
I feel like I have a good excuse, but why do other people dwell on the stuff that doesn't make it and that doesn't eat?
Because that's a great thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Why?
Negative.
Well, it's just no.
Oh, you're losing.
It's just no fun talking about the ones that eat it. Immediately
That's not
when
fun.
you.
Yeah. Oh, you have success? Boring.
I mean, it's just. Yeah. I mean, it's fun to talk about strategies to get the ones that won't eat. But
Yeah.
it just seems like that makes it maybe somebody that doesn't have the experience or outside the community think that all of these things are just problem feeders.
Right.
And that's just not the case. The majority of them are eat. You tap them, you little mouse paint, some chick scent, tap them, boom. They crush it.
Yeah.
But you don't hear. We don't talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, what I would say out of the 60 that you had, probably 5 or 10 didn't eat.
I would say, yeah. And you know what? The ones that were picky eaters or problematic tended to be clutch specific.
Yeah.
Like there's one clutch.
Yeah, it does seem to be
But
clutch specific.
Is it true or false? And like, I'm not in that position, but do you feel like there are guys who have this more understood, like kind of laughing at the panic that goes on with the people who are like, oh, these are the hardest things to get established. Like, I feel like there's people looking down at people having a fucking bitch fit about something that isn't really that hard. If you just kind of like,
well, the problem is they can be hard, and a lot of times it is clutch specific. Like, so if you have a clutch, and the second clutch I ever produced was a lot harder to establish than the first clutch I ever produced. But if you don't have that knowledge, like, okay, it's automatically, what am I doing wrong? As a breeder and as somebody that's trying to establish babies.
Yeah.
And until you have some experience, just knowing, okay, it's not me, it's this little, fucking running green tree. It's the problem. But somebody, it's their first clutch, they may think it's their issue.
yeah.
You
have Texas people selling their own chondro productions heavily in the live chats. What do you think about that?
I hope so.
Shout out to Mark Hager. Mark Hager has Chondro availability on his website. Please hit up Texas Chondros.
I'm a big promoter and supporter of Mark.
I'm a big fucking fan of Mark. I love Mark.
I have one of his animals.
I don't. Hey, neither does my son, Mark. How about you hit me up? Why don't we line that up? No, seriously, if it's one thing I look at, and I know a lot of other people maybe like in my up and coming position feel like having bloodlines from people like you, Mark, Patrick, like that the Texas fucking like honchos are something I would love to have a piece of your guys' work. I already have some of your stuff. Thank you, by the way.
Sir.
I don't have any Patrick stuff. I don't have any Mark stuff. Dude, you guys got Matt Morris, right? Isn't Matt Morris from Texas as well?
Yeah, it's from Austin.
Texas is not playing.
This is Matt Morris right here.
You got Travis. Never mind.
Matt Morris right
Travis
here.
is free. Travis ain't from Texas. Never mind. Just kidding. No, so I mean, we talked a little bit about this in the car, Bill, but as much as it's awesome to be from a place where everyone is like known, like there's a lot of heavy chondro hitters in Texas. At what point does it become a concern not to maybe overlap certain projects, or even maybe competition is what it is, right? But like, is there anything that you guys do specifically to make sure that you don't ever overlap what other people are doing in Texas? And I guess mainly you, Alex, because you're just now kind of stepping into this. So like going into your breeding and stuff like that, like do you strategically look at stuff that maybe not only catches your eye, but like not many other people are kind of working with? Or like, I'm just curious how you really look at all your projects compared to all the other heavy hitters in Texas that are working with.
Yeah. Well, overlapping, Patrick, Mark, and Bill is pretty tough to do. But I think that, again, all that takes a lot of time to do that. And eventually I would like to, I guess, if you want to call it overlapping, eventually I would like to do that. But I don't really think of it that way. I just, I grow my collection and I buy the animals that I want to buy, and I breed the animals that I want to breed, and whatever happens.
I think we're in such an infancy in like the project and projects that like, oh no, Mark's producing calicos and now I have a calico clutch, oh gosh, nobody's gonna want them. Or same with like,
I think the market is so big that
big,
like
the infancy that
you could go for whatever. I mean, you could go for high yellows, calico, high blacks,
about a lot of untapped stuff.
It doesn't matter. I mean, a green tree is a green tree. Like it's
whoa.
What?
Reds are reds. Reds are not yellows. So you can't say that.
I mean, yellows are just as popular as reds.
Whoa.
I said it. Yeah, you heard it here first.
They just said speaking to the mic. I don't think they could hear you. Say that one more time.
Yellows are just as popular as reds. I mean, it's not. Can they hear me?
That was a joke, right?
Did you cut his mic off?
He looked at me like, did they hear me? Yeah, they got you, bro. No, dude, no, I love hearing this because we're going back to the hype, right?
I mean, I'm just saying, I produced a clutch of all yellows and I didn't have a problem selling them. Like I've only ever sold yellows and they've all sold.
But if you have a clutch of all, let's be real right now, Alex Warren, okay? If you have a clutch of all yellows and a clutch of all reds, not about selling them, about what you want to keep. What are you looking at really? Like what?
Oh, I want to keep all reds.
It's just
so can we not say the yellows and reds are on the same level then? Because you're
I mean,
not
okay. I'm gonna say this. I've thought this for a long time. I think that reds are just a placebo effect. I think that you can get just as crazy animals from yellows as you can from reds.
I'm disowning him. We are cutting all ties at this point.
I think what Alex is saying is like it's not impossible for a yellow neonate to be that fucking craziest looking snake, but it's more common to happen in a red than a yellow.
I mean, yeah.
So then there you go. There's levels to this.
At this point, but
it's because all the design. It's because all the designers are reds, though.
That's what we talked about.
So now you need designers.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You always need designers.
Are you a little cat? Hey, what do you think about? Shout out to Garrett, by the way, House of Blues, which was a great episode with you and Garrett.
Yeah, that was fun.
Fucking iconic. He doesn't like the term designers. What do you have to say about that?
That Garrett doesn't like the term designers?
Yes, because he likes to call them locality crosses.
Well, that's because Garrett.
You can call it whatever you want.
He's working with locality crosses.
What's the difference?
I don't know.
Locality cross is like one generation to one generation.
Are we talking about one generation of pure localities
Yeah.
to another?
That's
So
what
there's no mixing going on. Like this is like a pure like sarong.
Yeah.
Like that has bred pure sarongs, and now you're putting it to another pure Aru, and
Yeah.
it makes this crazy snake.
I think
what
it's
he's doing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always up for debate. You know, like what is the definition of a designer?
Yeah.
You know,
how many
it's-
generations?
Yeah, like
I love it,
how many generations does it take for it to be considered a designer?
Absolutely.
So I think it's just up for debate, and everyone has a different definition of it.
I remember getting yelled at in 2017 because I was calling my ball pythons designers, and I realized you don't do that.
You should be yelled at for that.
Oh man, I got a lot of unfollows that
Well,
year.
first of all, you should call them royals.
Yeah.
Right, Sal? Royals.
Dude, yeah. Honestly, to be honest, like royal sounds way cooler than a fucking ball
I
python.
know. That's why I call them royals.
Because I
Yeah.
try to explain people, like, you want to know how a ball python is the biggest pussiest reptile on earth? It's a ball it goes into a ball as a defense. Like that's its defense. It balls up.
But a royal python.
But a royal is like it's more like it's protected by all
It's
these
like
other
the
fucking.
fucking king and queen of England.
A royal python, I think of like, oh wow, this thing has nothing but scrub pythons surrounding it, and it's like protected. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Why are you looking at me like that, Alex? It can
Because
happen.
we're talking about ball pythons.
we lost
Yeah.
Alex Moore. We got to bring him back.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So going back to the craze right now. More importantly, you, Bill, like inquiries. How are you delegating? Like, I'm not gonna say tire kickers, but like,
Don't go there. It's a sore subject with me.
But you got people that really have a good intention on wanting to own one of your animals. But how much of that are you having to explain to the person what they're inquiring about, and then after you explain to them, it just maybe doesn't work out?
Not very often, to be honest.
So you're saying they already know their shit when they come before they come to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not in my case.
Hey, I got this tank and 2 Red Bulls.
Yeah.
What do I do?
I have plenty of first-time green tree buyers, but I would say the vast majority. I have a lot of inquiries, but serious inquiries and eventual buyers. They've done their research. They know what they're getting. I have to provide very little, customer service before or after the sale. They just know what they're getting into. They're happy to buy good equipment, to put these things in, and that's so important, And I've said it a million times: get the right animal from the right person, put it in the right box, and a green tree is going to be one of the most easiest, pleasurable reptiles you'll ever keep.
Are you dealing with like a lot of like, and I'm not trying to say tire kickers because I get a lot of people have questions. Shout out to Marshall. But like, are you finding yourself having to like find a better way to dealing with people who have a shit ton of questions and not knowing if they want to buy an animal first? And like, because I feel like that could be like, that's what I struggle with sometimes. It's like, I have someone who asks me like a loaded question, right? And I'm like, God damn it, bro. Like, I don't have fucking 50 minutes to ask you more questions to see. But like, then again, like, how do we not know that this person could be a lifetime customer too? Like,
Yeah,
I'm just curious how you're delegating that right
it's
now.
a fine line, and I struggle much more with that, with people inquiring about ball pythons than I do green trees.
Yeah.
And you just, like I do, after years and decades of this, you can kind of tell off the bat somebody that's serious and somebody that's not.
Yeah.
I'm happy to educate people about green trees or ball pythons. But most of the time, the people that inquire about green trees they don't obviously always buy one when they do. And sometimes I talk them out of it, or I send them to somebody else, based on their needs. But most of the people that I talk to are really legitimately considering getting a green tree, whether it's their second, third, fourth, or their first.
I mean, the one thing I love I love a lot of things about you, but this right here is awesome, is that you have people who are doing really well in the department that they're currently in, but they're willing to branch out and start something. Like, look at Justin, what he did in his whole room, right?
Yeah.
And I know he didn't just only go through you, but shit, you were the start of all that. You know what I mean?
Early.
Yeah,
I
early.
think he got one of his first green trees from
But
me.
I also see this still happening. Like every year I see a new ball python guy who's smashing it, like making fucking really relevant shit, and they're like, dude, I want a chondro.
Yeah.
So like, to be in that position, like, how do you feel? Like, I know you try to take everyone on the same level, but are you maybe wanting to earn those businesses a little bit more, like people who are like Abelka's, like when you see someone who has an amazing business going on already,
Yeah.
and they're considering working with you, like, is it a different kind of approach?
The only thing that I consider is it going to be somebody that's going to be a good representative of
Yes.
of the community and
And you
and the animal.
and you're
and me
because
because
you
it
are the
comes
animal. Like that animal's
because
you.
yeah.
That's
Well, I mean, the animal comes with you know a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication, a lot of pride.
stamp of the mayor.
I mean, I want the animal to do well. I want the person to do well. I want the person to be a good representative of the community.
Yeah.
And so that's important to me. And so I'm fortunate to be in the position where I can vet my buyers. You know, and I don't care if they're Justin Kaboka or somebody that nobody knows who the hell they are, as long as I think that they're going to do right by the animal and they're going to, be either, I don't care if they're in the community or not, but if they're going to be in the community, then they're going to be good representation of the community.
But
Some people get these animals and they want to be fucking ghosts. They
Oh my
just
God,
want,
you're telling me.
they want to live, they just want it. They don't want any, any more
don't want-
involvement in social media. They don't want to post it.
They don't want to be on no podcasts. They don't want to fucking talk to nobody. It's like, bro, why you doing this to us?
Exactly. And
Christian Stewart, why are you doing this to me?
Christian Stewart. And I love that. I don't care about that as long as it takes care of the animal. I just don't want to put my animal in the hands of a douchebag.
So what's your outlook on that, Alex? Because I know you've only had one clutch, but you also had to sell some of these animals that you produce. And first and foremost, how's that been? Like, have you had any kind of like situations where you had to take an animal back because the person didn't know what they were doing, or like what's been like the feedback on your productions that you sold last year or this year?
I haven't had to take an animal back. I've sold a couple animals that I didn't produce, where they put them in a bioactive enclosure with a screen top,
In a waterfall.
Wait, is it tap water or fresh?
It was salt water. Yeah.
Salt water.
Yeah. No, I mean, it kind of makes me wonder sometimes about people like that, that would do that, which I understand it. I get it, because I think we were all there.
Very appealing.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
we were all there.
I think we were all there.
We were all
but-
there, especially when we weren't even in. Like when you're somebody taking advice and you're not tapped into the industry, you're gonna be like, well, I think I know better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just because you.
But also, how long were we all there for? Not very long.
You should have been there
Especially if you spend thousands of dollars on an animal
long. It
or
should be very
animals.
minimal how long you're there for.
Yeah, and also like you look at all these big breeders that none of them have a bioactive and none of them are keeping bioactive, and I don't understand why you would do it, but to each his own. Like if that's what you want to do, go ahead, but don't call me back whenever the snake gets sick. Like
Listen, I
don't.
think we would all agree they can be kept in bioactive.
Well, we can.
But
Almost anything technically can, right? But
Yeah,
we're talking
I
about
just think
sustainable.
you're putting yourself behind the eight ball unless you're just a bioactive freaking master.
Show me. Okay, well, we're talking people in our sense where we have multiple chondros. We're not talking like if someone is like, dude, I have a plant and it's one chondro in this fucking plant and there's dark frogs, just the one, and I want my living room.
Yeah,
I think you could definitely get it there.
it's
Not
possible. So bioactive is possible.
Yeah,
but
if that's your focus.
I think-
one thing.
yeah,
one, that
well,
whole-
so-
the vivarium and feeding, like making sure that there's ISO, like everything.
Yeah.
Then go for it.
So I think David Brahms was saying it, that you have to have a good amount of experience to do it. You have to keep the animals for a few years at least.
Right.
And also I think you have to have a big cage to do that in, because they have to be able to
drainage system.
you need a lot of stuff to have a proper bioactive cage that a green tree is going to go in and actually thrive.
So I saw one bioactive system going on at a zoo, and of course it was at a zoo. And dude, shout out to my man, PJM Reptiles, Dennis McNamara.
Dennis, yeah.
That's the fucking man right there.
Dennis
But
is a
Dennis
beast.
has been working at the Virginia Beach Zoo for over fucking 20 years. And when I was at his place a couple years ago vlogging, he was like, yeah, we've had basins, mind you, basins, right? Something that, if you think of anyone who breeds basins every single year, we go and think of Ed Marino, right? Like that's like the basin guy to us. But Dennis has bred basins, I think 6 years in a row at the zoo, which he's been a part of.
It's insane.
And we're looking at a fucking goddamn bioactive, which is, dude, I want to say at least half the size of this room. Okay, so if we take the Gatorade fridge to where like let's say the stairs is, that's how big, and from here, that's how big the fucking room was. Like,
Yeah.
and so he had one male and three females in there. And bro, there was like, I'm talking like constant rain, and he was somebody who's like, dude, we only see them drinking when we're fucking doing 2-hour fucking rain chambers on it, and they drink for like 30 minutes, and mainly because these are imports too. So
Yeah.
like if you're gonna do something to that extreme, that's how extreme I feel like it should be. Like they need like options galore. Like not only do the temps need to be fucking everywhere, but like the humidity. Like I don't think people understand the kind of humidity these snakes live in, bro. Like it's fucking humid.
Yeah.
Like, almost unbearable. Like who did I talk to? I talked to somebody, I think it was Daniel Solis, who's like, he was by a river somewhere where there's basins like known, and he says if you just sit still for like 5 minutes, you're just like you can't.
Right.
It's so uncomfortable. You have to move around.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? And I guarantee not every motherfucker had the humidity like that in their collection, because that's hard to keep like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get a lot of mold.
Right.
You know?
But I'm just right. Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think people understand what comes.
Yeah.
Like if you want to do all this shit, do you know what to do when mold happens? Do you know what to do when there's fungus or like whatever? Like there's things of adjusting that you're gonna have to be ready for.
Yeah.
And it would suck to see the animal have to pay for it if that was the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's hard to do, but it's not impossible to do. And I think that somebody just coming into it shouldn't be doing it. Like, just keep it, how I keep it. That's with any green tree though. Like if I bought especially a neonate from somebody, and I would say, how are you keeping it? Like send me a picture of the tub you're keeping it in. And that's how I'm going to set it up at home. And once it's established, then I can move it on to other things. I can move it in a bigger enclosure or whatever I want to do.
And what's crazy is like no matter what we're talking about as far as bioactive, you're gonna have that one person who's gonna sit here and say it works for me.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, how many do you have?
Yeah.
Like show me fucking 20 of these motherfuckers rocking and rolling for you. You know what I mean? And so what we're trying to say is like we're not saying bioactive is impossible. It's possible, but for people like us and the standard that we keep as far as breeding, it makes no sense whatsoever. Because we're not gonna put fucking 100 draining systems. But not only that, like I don't think it's necessary. Like as much as people would love to mimic the wild, they're not the fucking wild.
Yeah.
Like let's be real, dude.
If you're gonna do
Like,
that,
that's like us acting like cavemen. That's like us still fucking like. What if Bill went and grabbed Kim by the hair and dragged her over and said, "We need more wine"? That wouldn't be cool. I mean, maybe. But that was kinky. You were into that. But I'm saying, like,
listen, if that were the case, then we would inject all of these with parasites. Let's parasite load them.
Everything.
Yeah.
If you want
Yeah,
to
exactly.
be like in the
Yeah.
wild, let's parasite load them. Let's make them be 400 grams and not 800.
Yeah. Put a hawk in there. Let them.
I mean, the where they come from in nature in their natural habitat is a great place to start. But I think we've learned over many different species, over many decades, that it's a great place to start, but it does not always translate to the best care in captivity.
okay, let's think of this. Like, let's think about some places where it's hot as fuck, right? Just because it gets to that temperature where they're from, does that make you think these animals enjoy that? Like, do you think these animals are like, oh, wow, it's 110 today. I need to be in that 110. No, I think these animals are professionals at finding where is like the most comfortable spot, the most shaded. So like real theoretically, no matter what the temps say in Indonesia, how do we know where they're chilling at? Like how do we know what the temps are under a fucking banana fucking plant or some shit, or like something where they're able to find and get into where even though the sun says this, they're never exposed to that.
You know what you do? You look at what the people in the 70s and 80s did with green trees. And they probably tried to do that, and they had limited success.
Yeah, they could.
But I would much rather learn from other people's experiences and mistakes than my own. And so, listen, we've got these things dialed in pretty good now, keeping them. Not so much breeding them. We're getting there.
But better keeping can lead to better breeding.
Absolutely. And it's
Yeah.
a numbers game. Keeping them, we have these things dialed in, you know. I mean,
All across the board, though, do people have it dialed in?
what do you mean?
Because you're saying Green Tree Pythons we have dialed in as far as people up to your caliber, right? But if we're talking about the new keeper coming in,
No, I'm telling you, if you follow a very simple cookbook recipe about how to keep a captive bred green tree, you're going to have success.
what's one of the biggest things us keepers in America?
Not across the pond.
I ain't gonna put those. I don't live there, so. But one of the biggest things that I feel like we do naturally, not on purpose, but like we overfeed. Like we feed way too much. And I'm not saying animals, just like in general, feeding is something that is like overdone, right? And that's something that we come to realize after sooner or later keeping reptiles. You don't need to fucking feed so much. Like less is more in a sense until it's right time, but also heat. Like we're talking about people who were back in the 70s, but even to today, give a natural give a hot spot of 88, 87. And we're talking in something probably no bigger than a 4x2 or 3x2. So what is the coolest size? 80? Dude, these things need like I'm not saying they're human, but goddamn, if they want low 70s, give them low 70s. Like they need options. And I feel like something that doesn't have options sooner or later becomes a stress ball. Like it's just like not a happy thing to be on Earth.
Well, I mean, I think we've learned though, you know.
Yeah.
We've learned.
Yeah.
You know,
But-
we've learned from 20 years ago.
Like David Brown keeps everything ambient. Everything. And which I
So
always
does, so
thought,
does Ryan Young.
right. And obviously there's and I always thought that too, like, man, I don't think things need as much temps until there's an ovulation. You know what I mean? But also it's too, like, I don't know, just a lot of things to think about. Like
I think you can keep a green tree at 82, 83 ambient, you know, as long as she has a night drop, or as long as it has a night drop,
yeah.
you know, to the mid 70s. I think you can keep them ambient.
What are you thinking, Alex, overall, as far as all the cycling techniques out there? So light cycling, food cycling, temp cycling, like which ones are kind of
The most important?
Yeah, and something that you want to make sure you stick to.
I would definitely say probably temperature cycling.
If I could only have one, it would be 10.
Yeah, I agree with Bill. If I could only have one, I'd probably say temperature.
Which is why you breathe the way you breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yes.
It's the best way to mimic what you're trying to breathe.
Yes.
But I also think food cycling is pretty important too. I think that along with that temperature drop, you should also decrease their food a lot too. I don't know why. I just think that maybe happens in the wild. Maybe.
Are you copying Bill's stuff to the fullest? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Like his night drop. So again, Bill, your night drops have no heat, or there is heat? Are your night drops? I can't remember.
So year round, all of my heat goes off. Summer and winter, all my
At what time?
supplemental 8 o'clock at night.
No heat at all.
No heat.
Exactly. That's
And
exactly
it's-
how I set it
and-
up
and-
too.
And it's whatever it's in the room, right?
Yeah, just whatever it is in the room, and usually in
And
the
that's even for
room.
gravid females.
Yep.
Ones that ovulate too.
Yep. You bet.
And so like that means the coldest your room is getting is like what 75 is at like coldest time of the year.
No, coldest time of the year, I'll drop all the way to 70. 70 at night, but you have to remember during the day,
It gets
the
up to
heat
80.
comes back on. You know, my normal daytime temps are back, so I don't change daytime temps at all during the year. The only thing I ever change is nighttime.
And you have an okay like you're doing that you're because you just moved, Alex, not so long ago, right? Like, shout
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
a couple months, a few months ago.
But like you having to you having to adjust temps because right now it's still fucking hot in Texas. Right
Shit,
now.
it's
Uh-huh.
90s
Fuck.
today.
Yeah.
What's your approach this year as far as temp cycling goes? Like, are you worried? Not worried, but are you more looking into things as we get cooler, like April or March, or like when are you kind of like determining when you should pair during the temp cycling?
Well, I'm pairing right now.
Yeah,
So,
but obviously you're not pairing everything, right? Like not everything's being paired, right?
well, all that I have, I only have one pair. That's all I have going right now.
Yeah, but don't you have don't you have more adults?
I have 2 adult females, and one of them is breeding. I'm trying to breed 2 3-year-old males, and they both don't really seem to be interested. So I'm going to keep trying that, but I have another pair that is locking and doing good.
You
so-
tried switching the males to see if it's a compatibility thing? Like just
I did actually, and so one of my adult females was the one that laid last year. So she's the one that I want to keep with the 3-year-old males. So if she doesn't go, like I'm completely fine with that because she just laid a year ago.
Huh.
So, you know, if she gets 2 years off, then that's fine with me. But I have that other pair that they both have never produced. Like the male, I guess the male did breed last year. But this female is a brand new female. So that's the pair I'm really focusing on.
What's the warmest this room's getting every year, Bill? What's the warmest you'll let this room get?
Probably 78.
Okay.
I mean, I try to keep it at 75. I try to keep 75 as my just ambient temperature all the time. Sometimes it'll creep up a little bit higher than that. You know, but think about it, 75 in the room. If I'm running a heat panel right here, basically even on the cool side, you're looking at 80 degrees, right? Because you're going to get, if I'm keeping 84 or 85 over here on the heat, I'm keeping it 75 here in the room. Well, that means even over here on the non-heat side, probably looking at 78 or 79 degrees.
I think this talk is getting, John, Gary's friend, the one who does the skinks.
Yeah, hell yeah.
He just said he loves skinks.
Of course he does.
He liked it. Shout out to my man John, man. What a guy.
Yeah, you got a super chat.
Yeah, man. So okay, let's talk about some super blue talk. Okay, because you have people kind of like, if I do a vlog at the mayor's, they're listening to almost every word that comes out of my mouth, as they should. But I mentioned something about super blues last time I was here. Or you said something about super blues.
Yep.
And I don't know how to explain that to people. Like, people are asking me, like, what does that mean? Is he making super blues or super blues available? Like that type of shit. Can we kind of break down super blues?
Yeah, super blues. And unfortunately, I thought I had produced one last year, but it turned out to be not the case. Basically, a super blue is an animal that comes from blue line lineage. And most blue animals from blue line lineage that turn blue are called true blue. True blue. So that means they're born typically a red neo. They will go through their ontogenic color change and they'll turn usually green. But then over a 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 year, 6 year period, that green turns into blue. And it can be a beautiful, beautiful aqua blue.
Like almost a completely different looking snake.
Absolutely. At 5 to 6 years. That's called a true blue animal. And that's the way that most blue line animals develop. A super blue is an animal that hatches. It's a red neonate. Thus far, all super blues have been red neonates. And instead of turning green, it immediately goes from red to blue.
Like the shit Garrick has. In a sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, some of his stuff what
about Gasanova?
Gasanova could be a super
fuck?
blue.
Yeah.
What the fuck, Alex? That snake is fucking ridiculous, bro.
Yeah.
And I love all the shit you got from Bill. It makes me all upset.
I do too. Yeah.
Gasanova, and you knew you had a heavy snake when you got that thing, bro. Probably the heaviest purchase too, I would say, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Without a doubt. Yeah.
Okay, I gotta ask you, Alex. I commend you for even having the balls to reach out to Christian, or did you reach out to Christian, or how did that happen?
Did, yeah. So me and Bill were actually just talking about him, and I reached out to him, just introducing myself, and we were talking a little bit, and he was saying, well, I had a clutch recently, and I might have one available. So it kind of just worked out. Like it was just perfect timing. Like I really didn't intend on buying one from him because I didn't think that I was going to be able to get one because, I thought his wait list was a mile long.
Right.
But it just worked out. So
it's about what you know too,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I kind of told him I knew, Bill. Yeah.
Do you have any Christian Stewart stuff floating around in your
I have in the past. In fact, the second animal I ever got, second green tree I got was from Christian, and it was a very special animal because Christian had put it up for sale, and all the proceeds of the sale went to Rico because Rico had been diagnosed with brain cancer at the time. So that was the second or third green tree that I ever got, and it was a beautiful animal. He sold it to me as male, and it turned out being female. So yes, even the legends make mistakes in sexing animals, and that female went along to produce a clutch for me, and just a great experience. And so, yes, I have had a Christian animal.
Now we talk about guys like Christian Stewart, and just that era. What do you think about guys and where they're at nowadays? Like, I mean, do you ever think about it, like what these guys are up to? And because right now you're like the forefront, like you're going on you're a podcast for first and foremost.
I love the limelight.
But but it's well deserved. Like people want to fucking hear from you, right? So you're kind of the one on the forefront of that end, but then you also have guys that groomed you and people you respected, but they're just more like not in the limelight whatsoever. And there might even be guys you haven't heard of in a long time. But I'm just curious, you ever think of them? Or
a lot of those guys are under the radar because they're not social media. They don't have a strong social media presence.
Right.
And a lot of them are just out of it because they did it, for 20 years, and they just have moved on to other stuff. But I think, and I've always tried to explain to Alex the importance of recognizing the people that came before us, like in this community. I think it is the one thing that maybe differs our community, maybe more than any other community.
Yeah.
The respect for the people that were here before us.
I mean, look at the Retic community. They don't respect shit.
MJ, come on. We're trying to keep the podcast positive here.
No, but I can only think because there's other communities that I see out there, and I'm like, they don't fuck with each other the same way the Chondro community is very tight, man.
Yeah.
And if you got respect on your name, nobody fucks with you, man. Like, and not that you are someone to be cocky, but like their respect is held high in the Chondro community, and because motherfuckers know, like, this isn't like a get-rich scheme fucking thing. Like, this isn't like, oh, you came in here 2 years ago and look at you. Like, no, like, this isn't what the Chondro game is. It's straight fucking blood, sweat, and tears. You know what I mean? But it's more people fan of people's work after the years of just watching them post and just, like to see Bill where he's at right now compared to 6 years ago. Are you kidding me? You know what I mean?
Oh, it's night and day.
It's
yeah. I mean, what, you were getting one clutch a year 5-6 years ago?
Consistently got one clutch a year every year.
Yeah.
But guess what? 5-6 years ago, he still had motherfuckers like Brian Barczyk pulling.
Yeah.
And like that's what I'm saying. Like even before you got to this point, Bill, like you were making noise, but just doing your thing, of course. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
making the right moves
and just trying to be respectful. To the people that I had and still have so many good mentors. People that I have to get on the phone and call, like when I'm unsure of something or I want to run something by, and a lot of those people are just under the limelight. They're just they don't want to have a big social media presence, which is great. But I still want people to know that they're out there and they're the reason that people like me and Alex and really all the people of my generation, whether it's John Irby or Garrett or Dave D or a lot of the people that have had on your show, it's because of what the people the generation before, did for us.
And with that being said, Alex, where do you want to take the social media presence for yourself? Like, I mean, do you ever see yourself at some point like wanting to, I don't want to say like start a podcast and shit, but do you ever see yourself wanting to step your shit up with social media at some point?
I think you need to get on TikTok.
Yeah. Totally.
Wow.
No.
Jose's going to be your front man.
Bring us on TikTok.
Oh my God. I mean, yes and no. Like, I just don't care about social media. Like if it wasn't for the snakes, I wouldn't even have an Instagram.
Me too.
Yeah.
So
but
that has to make you think that you, like, as much as like you don't give a fuck, you have to give a fuck.
I have to give a fuck. Like I mean, really, like Instagram has brought me closer to so many people. Yeah, I've met so many people through Instagram.
Right. And
really, I'd say like that's the biggest reason why I care about it. But also I've sold snakes through Instagram. So it's just another, if I'm going to take this as far as I can, I've got to build a decent sized social media. That's just the day and age we live in. Yeah. You basically have to have a big social media, especially in the snake game.
Do you find yourself spending a lot of time giving people the time of day on Instagram with basic questions and shit like that? But only because you probably feel good doing it too, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, and anyone that reaches out to me, I'll answer their questions.
Right.
I mean, especially, I always think of everyone as a potential customer in the future, right. And
you know, it's not necessarily a monetary thing, but, you know, like, you know, I'm lucky enough to have Bill. So I want to pass that on to other people. You know, I want people to reach out to me whenever they have a question, and I want to be able to help them and answer it the best I can.
You know, me and Bill talked about this, and one of the, I'll probably say the best thing, not only in your guys' fucking relationship, but in any relationship, is there's never a moment where you feel like you're being like cheaped or he's being cheap. Like there's never like well, what's in it for me type of thing. Like you are here to do what you want to do because you feel like you're in a great position, you know? And Bill would love to provide anything he can provide for you because of the position you're putting him in, you know?
Yeah.
But you understand what you're doing for him is just doing good for is you.
Yeah.
And that's like a like, dude, no strings attached. Like, dude, thank you for doing this for me because I now have a path, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, I think Bill always says that I do more for him, but I always say he does more for me.
I think so.
You know?
I mean, hours of the day being worked, you're wrong.
Yeah.
but we're talking about like motivation, knowledge. We're talking not free schooling, but in a sense, free schooling. Like you're being fucking let out the cliff notes, dude. Like
I would come here for free.
You're actually,
you know?
Not only that, you're actually helping him establish his own production.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we have the relationship that we do.
Right.
Because
Partnership.
I think he does more for me, and he
Right.
thinks I do more for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
He does more for me.
So it's like he's always in debt to you. You're always in debt to him.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's
Yeah.
But because of that, you guys will always just keep working the pace you're working at, and that is fucking grinding. You guys are fucking doing it right now.
It's a great,
Well, you know,
it's a great
like,
example of synergy. You know?
yeah. I mean, I would, you know, like he essentially, you know, like pays me in snakes. But I would,
Snakes, bro.
I would come here for free,
Okay,
you
well
know?
in snakes.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm saying I would come here for free. Like, you know,
You know
if
which air I punched because of your fucking stories. You know? Like, I'm just
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
yeah,
Like, how did you steal this?
dude. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He does more for me,
But
bro.
let me tell you something,
Like,
man. I don't have an Alex Warren because I don't have the Chondro Productions, but I have a Diego. Okay?
Yeah.
Boy Diego, that's my dog right there. And I could see why I could not let this person acquiring the snake get this snake for me, but I'll let Diego take it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah.
And like that's like, you know what I mean?
Your side man's always gonna be your
should
number
always
one. Yeah, I mean
You
they're
know,
always
people-
gonna
you know
get
how
second
people
pick.
don't know that? Do you understand how many people have sidemen that they don't realize how good they're helping them out? And I only know this just based off stories and what I've seen, but I've seen sidemen being underappreciated. Like I seen motherfuckers who carry the whole snake room, but then yet they're not in the limelight. Not that
Yeah.
they want to be, but I'm just saying the dynamic happening here in this room and then happening between you two are second to none. It's pretty awesome. But only because I see the legacy continuing. All I want, I gotta say, the one depressing thing I ever heard Bill say to me in this room was, I think the first or second time I was here, and he told me that in like 10 years he could see himself retiring. And I'm like, and I'm like, and this is I just got here, and he's telling me he wants to retire in 10 years, and I'm like, fuck no. But in a sense, like, let's be real, man. Like, let's be real.
Well, first of all,
Yeah.
I said I hope I'm still alive in 10 years.
Motherfucker, I'm the mayor, bro.
Secondly, I said I would see my retirement in 5 years.
That's coming up quick.
That was like 3 years ago. That's
Yeah, I was
2
gonna
years.
say that's like
Okay, but Bill, are you really thinking about it at some point?
Not retiring in the sense of like just
Giving it
dropping
all up.
everything and giving it up, but transitioning.
Yeah. What would be the first thing to dial back? Like in this room, you know, you have ball pythons, short tails. Do you still have retics? I'm just kidding.
I am still a retic guy in theory. Yeah,
Wait, there is still one here?
it's on breeding.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. It's still attached. So, but what would be like the first thing you'd want to kind of phase out? Not phase out, but maybe kind of like, all right, this will be the one that.
Well, it would be easy, and I guess probably the easiest way to put it is chondros would be the last thing. So,
Oh yeah, well, I hope so.
the
will
ball
phase out to
pythons-
me.
The ball pythons would go because my value in the ball python is my experience with new snake keepers.
Try this UK wine. I hope it's good.
It's going to be shitty. Sal, I hope you're not watching right now.
Sal, if this tastes like fish and chips, I'm gonna be pissed.
It's It's a 2002 Sussex Pinot Noir.
2022 Austin Power Edition.
Okay.
Austin Powers.
Let's try it. But the reason that I would get out of the ball pythons is because I love the experience of new keepers, and that's where that would come. And so I would get out of the ball pythons before the green trees, only because the green trees, that's just where
Your
my
bread and
passion
butter.
for the animal is.
That's where it all starts.
That's what it is for me now. My passion with the ball pythons is really much more about the keeper than it is the animal, because I love introducing new people to snakes, and the ball python's the way to do it.
I love seeing the transition of someone. I mean, mainly what I love is seeing someone who thinks their life is fulfilled breeding and keeping ball pythons. Like, I love that individual. And then I see them get interested in chondros. And then what I see is the rebirth of someone liking ball, like me, dude. Like, I remember,
absolutely.
I'll never forget when I, first found out about a MORPH ball python. I was so intrigued. Like, if you would have told me what a chondro was, I would be like, stop it. I don't want to listen to you. This is a pie. You know what I mean? That's how much a ball python did to me.
Me too.
I think to
Yeah.
other than Alex.
Other than Alex.
I think to a lot of people,
Alex can't.
it was a gateway drug because of the situation. You already know Alex is a different breed, but I'm just saying, situational wise, a lot of people have an introductory into the fucking chondro game. Like, they started with something else, and then the chondro game is like it's like a new girlfriend. It's like oh my god, the sex is great. It's like holy shit, what's happening? But it's a brand new experience. But it doesn't die down as quick, if not ever. Dude, I'm still as fucking jazzed with the chondros as I was when I first got into it. If not even more, because I'm starting to figure things. Now, I don't want to say I figured shit out. Please, chondro gods, please take that back.
Please, Rico.
Please take that back.
Please, chondro.
But as the more time you have at the plate, the more at bats, the more you get excited to the next one. And I'm like you, dude, Alex. If I feel something in my heart should be paired, I'm pairing that shit up because I want more clutches, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of it. But I don't know, what are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about me getting out.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, okay, but more importantly, shout out to the other halves. The other halves have so much they have so much to do on almost a lot of decisions that we make in their own snake room. So you talking to Kim potentially about you maybe getting out more than you're in now. What does she have to say about that? Like, what does Kim have to say?
She's been an incredible support system, through all of it. When I told her I was gonna, quit being a practicing, successful anesthesiologist to do snakes, she was like, "Fucking do it, go for it, awesome." So she's been super supportive. But there's gonna come a time where she's still working a regular job, which she loves.
Yeah.
But there's going to come a time where she's going to stop doing that, and that's a time that we're going to want to travel. And as much as I love these animals, they're a ball and chain, as you know.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do.
There's only so much you can do remotely, and only so much you can do away from the collection, even if you have awesome help. So that day's going to come.
Yeah.
And when it does, I think I'm going to feel really good about. At least with the green trees, leaving them in the hands of somebody that I trust, and I'll never be away, but I can step away for some of it.
Yeah.
And like maybe during the busy seasons, establishing babies or whatever, then I can be here for those 3 months. But if I want to be gone for a while, then I can be gone and not feel like I'm always having to look at a camera, look at a temp gauge. Get online from Italy and see, make sure everything's okay.
Do you think your success determines your retirement though? Like, what if you were just on a fucking roll right now? Like, what if this roll continues for the next 5 to 6 years?
Maybe a little bit. I wouldn't say significantly. Or the opposite scenario. Maybe everything crashes.
No, what? Okay, exactly. What if everything rolls for you and then everything crashes for Alex? Are you retired?
That's exactly what would happen
I think
too.
more likely it would be the opposite. Everything crashes for me and everything rolls for Alex. Rolls good for Alex, crashes for me.
Go ahead.
I don't think any of that would make a significant difference in how long I, stayed full time.
How old are you, Alex?
Day to day.
28.
Do you ever fuck around in your head and just think what it would be like doing this on your own completely?
Every
Every
day.
day, I
Every
hope.
day. Yeah.
I hope,
But
every
yeah,
day.
that's been the plan since before I met Bill. You know, I guess I shouldn't really say that. I mean, I don't know what it was, but I got my first green tree, and
Something clicked.
yeah, I just I knew something was there.
Well, here's the thing about things clicking is because multiple things keep happening in front of you for them to click.
Yeah.
And what happens is obviously when you meeting Bill, even the beginning stage, you felt good about something. Like you could almost predict this future. Be like, dude, I see myself fucking with Bill for a long time.
Oh
If
yeah,
not
for
forever,
sure.
you
Yeah.
know? And so that's why it's kind of like not really a bad thing that you thought about that right away, but it's like can't help if you feel a certain type of way, and if you feel good about something like this podcast shit, man. I premeditated this shit like getting this far, like when it was just something out of my room. You know what I mean?
Alex told me within the first few months that like we met, and he goes, "This is what I want to do."
Wait, the fucking came out of nowhere. I'm not gonna lie. Like, because I was like, "Who's this fucking ginger?" And I was like, "Wait a minute."
Is that Gary's
You know
son?
what, dude?
Is that
I've been
Gary's
asked
son?
that
It was
so many
like,
times.
okay, I can't remember what it was, but I noticed he picked up a heavy production from you. I was like, all right, this isn't just I love you, Jose, but this ain't a Jose. I really love Jose. That's my dog, but I'm like, this isn't a Jose right here. This guy has a little bit of like more of a demeanor behind what he's trying to do. And then the Christian Stewart picked up, and I was like, this guy's not fucking around. Like this guy right now just like honestly, that's what really gave me like I don't need to question Alex Warren. This motherfucker just picked up something so ridiculous.
Yeah, but you were in it a long time before that pickup.
About a year.
No, more than a year. For sure.
I was in it for 2 years.
On the map, though. On the map.
Yeah.
Social media.
I mean, I had some of your productions before Christian.
But and no disrespect, but you didn't become even a fucking radar until you started fucking Bill. Like that's when.
Oh well, yeah. Well, really, until I started my Instagram account and people knew that I was fucking with Bill.
When did you go to Amazing Emporiums?
2021. That was when I created my Instagram account. Was 2021, but I've been coming here since 2020. So, but yeah, I mean, the Bill was obviously a huge part of this, but I really added the Christian Stewart animal to get some different bloodline in there, some really potent high-end bloodline in there.
Well, I mean, some bloodline you really can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, arguably, some of the best bloodline in the world. So,
no doubt.
Yeah,
and, you talk about longevity, and you talk about history.
We're talking shit close to Trooper Walsh.
It does.
Christian Stewart is second generation. From from Trooper and Rico. He's fucking second generation.
Yeah, I mean, that snake that I have, his genetics go back to the 70s.
Who's Christian's uncle? Tom or
no?
I'm blanking too. I know it. I know
I
it.
just want to say shout out to that guy, dude.
Whatever his name is.
Tim Morris.
Tim.
Yeah.
Tim.
Yeah.
Dude, Tim, you're my dude.
Tim produced Mr. Blue.
Not Tim's not related to Matt.
No.
But Tim is Christian Stewart's uncle.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Both great guys, and that's when Maryland, was the condor capital of the
Maryland.
world.
Well, that's why they had that conference. That 1 year they had that.
The ICAS. That's what that
Force was there.
Yeah. Maryland used to be the Maryland and Washington. Trooper Walsh was the curator of the National Zoo in Washington D.C.
That was 2014.
Oh, he was there forever.
No, I'm talking about the ICAS.
Oh, ICAS was 2013. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know, Bill. Let me ask you, 2013. How did you feel like how you were in the Condor game in 2013? Like,
so in 2013, I owned 2 Condors. When I went to the ICAS,
you're more carpet heavy.
I was super carpet heavy, and that's kind of why I went. And when I went to ICAS, that was the first time I'd ever been to an expo. I didn't know a single person. I just said, "Fuck it, I'm going to go to ICAS." I knew Buddy Buscemi, who was one of the 3 sponsors of the ICAS. That was the International Collective Arboreal Symposium, and to this day, still the best reptile function I've ever been a part of.
Whoa! Are we talking about better than your own?
Yeah.
Are we talking about better than your own?
Yes.
Whoa!
Wow.
Better than Trap Fest? It's okay if you just said better than your own. If you said better than Trap Fest, I'm okay with that.
It was better. It was better than Trap Fest because it was different than Trap Fest. It was different than what I do.
Being a Chondro fan, it was the best. Like if you were a Chondro
fanatic,
that was the place to be. Is what you're saying.
Listen, this is where a conference where they had Daniel Latouche flown in from Australia, to talk about green trees in the wild. This is a place where
Is he still alive, by the way, Daniel?
Oh yeah, he's a young guy.
Is he? Oh, he's younger.
Yeah.
Cool. I've heard Barczyk bring him up quite a bit, so that's why I never knew how old that guy was.
He's the leading researcher of green trees in the wild.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a great symposium. But it was the first time I ever left and said I went by myself, did no soul, and went there and had the best time. That's when I figured out, like, just because I'm into reptiles and I'm like not a real like social guy when I don't know people, I could walk up to anybody there, introduce myself,
have the best time ever,
and say like, "Hey, what do you keep? You keep carpets or green trees or
I think that's. I mean, for anyone out there who has kind of like cool social awkwardness like approach, like, dude, when you go to a place where you're not going to be judged, and you're like, dude, all you do is bring up the word snake. And you could literally just go back and forth with somebody and have the best conversation ever. And you don't feel like you're judged. You don't feel like you're like, how's this person like think of me? It's kind of like an open fucking format.
That's one of the reasons that I have people here, before the NRBC.
Everyone has a good time
because they can come and you could not know them from Adam. You could be some just super shy guy and not know how to, talk to people at work.
But hold on.
But you could come.
Hold on, Bill. You've had Jordan. Jordan's not here tomorrow. What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
That's why I have you here.
Because Jordan, shout out to Jordan. Jordan is Bill's son-in-law. The guy's fucking. He used to live here for a little bit.
Yeah.
Now he's in Houston.
He's in Houston.
But we're talking about everyone's having the time of their life in the room. Bill's in the zone. I'm in the zone. We have a couple people, stragglers, who rather not be a part of this, but they're entertained by Jordan. That's Jordan. That is Jordan.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you about God knows what.
Yeah.
We're gonna miss
anything.
him.
Yeah.
I miss you, buddy.
Here's the Jordan.
Here's the Jordan, man.
Here's the Jordan.
And
my beer's done.
Wow. God damn it. I mean, I'm trying to think about future talk here, Alex. Production wise, how big do you want to take things?
As far as I can take it.
Whoa.
What
does that mean? Because right now you have how many adult females?
I have 2 adult females.
Okay.
Mm.
But let me rephrase the question. How many chondro females?
How many females do I have? I have 7 or 8.
7 or 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
2025 is my big breeding season.
So we're talking about 2025. You should have 7 to 8 females ready to go.
Yeah.
And you're willing to do all 7 to 8 at that time.
For sure.
So what I'm trying to say is, if you have the females ready to rock, you're going to put every female out there if possible. Even 10 years from now, if we're talking like you have 20 females.
Yeah. I mean, as of sitting here right now, yeah. But I mean, I don't know what's going to happen 10 years from now. But like I'm going to try and take this as far as I can. If
so Socrates wanting to hit 30 clutches in 2026 doesn't sound crazy to you.
No, that does sound crazy. That sounds crazy.
But you're saying let's say you could have that opportunity in fucking 5 seconds.
Well, that sounds crazy for me too. Yeah, I mean, but like,
well,
that sounds crazy. Sounds crazy for anybody.
He's seen what 6 clutches.
Yeah, I mean, 6 clutches was crazy. Like, I mean, so you're talking about 36 clutches.
5 times that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean.
Okay, but you know what's crazy? Bill was talking earlier about how we don't talk enough about the thriving side of neos, like how actually there are more to take than not take, or at least 50-50, right?
Absolutely.
So Sock had one of the biggest clutches I've ever seen. 30.
Yeah.
And guess what? 30 for 38 points.
It's phenomenal.
That's fucking nuts, right? So that kind of backs a lot about what Bill says, that if we're looking at numbers against what thrives, you're always going to get shit that thrive.
I have a question about that. Do you think that if those 30 neos were in a first-time breeder's hands, would those 30 have eaten?
Hell no. I think Sock has an approach, just like all you guys do. But then again, who knows? I don't fucking know, dude.
Yeah.
Some motherfucker. I mean,
but this is the deal.
Depends what knowledge is, I guess.
I spend 90% of my time on 20% of the babies.
You say that one more time.
So I spend the vast majority of my time on 20% of the babies that I produce. The other 80% or 75%, boom, here it is, little chick down, little tease, boom.
So the headaches are 20% of what you're dealing
So
with.
the headaches
The headaches are 90%.
The headaches are 90% of what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have a clutch that goes 20 for 20, that's fucking phenomenal. That's great. Okay. You're just as likely to have a clutch that's going to go 8 for 20. Now you've got 12 fucking poor feeders. It's a numbers game. Okay.
Yeah.
You could get lucky and go 20 for 20. You could get unlucky and go 2 for 20. But if you have 30 clutches, the odds are going to even out, right? And so you're going to have 80% that feed great for you, and you're going to have 20%, that are real time wasters, tire kickers.
Right.
And those 20% on 30 clutches will kill you.
What if this approach that David Brom's talking about could eliminate how much headache we really put into feeding these things? Because I mean, I've had Socrates tell me I think he spent 45 minutes to an hour on one EO.
Yeah, we all have it.
I have too, and literally never took, and I wanted to cry. But then, what if just putting something down this fucking thing's throat?
But here's the thing: eventually,
quicker.
it's going to have to turn. So eventually, you're going to
have to figure it out.
It's going to have to figure it out, and that means eventually you're going to have to spend the time to help it figure out. Whether it's the first time you try to feed it, or the 5th, or the 10th. Right. You're going to eventually have to spend more than a couple minutes feeding that snake.
Now, how much of that is even worth it to you guys to want to continue the snake and sell it?
Well, that's a great question.
Because, obviously, one thing about Ryan Young, I shout out to Ryan Young, he'll be here tomorrow. Did I spill beans? But I'm just saying, cannot wait to fucking, dude, I cannot wait to meet Ryan Young tomorrow. You're fucking kidding me. But Ryan Young was the first motherfucking gangster on this podcast who simply says, I don't fucking assist feed, dude. Like if
Matt Morris.
If that shit ain't gonna eat, I don't want it. Like he doesn't. Like he almost looks for fucking weak eaters. Like almost tests you to be weak to be like, I don't want you in this mix because it's all about what you're carrying on, right?
Yeah.
And I've heard from multiple people that weak eater it lingers into that clutch. Like it's something that you always have to deal with if you continue that.
Yeah.
Well, I have a very strong opinion. First of all, I'm just so addicted to these babies that I have got to give it every chance.
Me too. I can never be that gangster.
I can't help
it. But we're talking about someone who has 29 python species under his belt.
Okay,
that's fucking nuts.
I get it, and I'm not, I'm not Ryan Young. The second thing I'll tell you, just as a one very shallow example, I had an animal, a male this year, freight train, that produced 2 clutches. Okay. One clutch was one of the most phenomenally establishing clutches that I've ever had. Every baby ate maybe one problem animal. The other clutch from the same sire has been the biggest pain in the ass that we've had this year.
Yeah.
So, what? So Freight Train as a baby, was he a great eater?
Yeah.
Was he a bad eater? Who knows? What difference does it make? He produced a great feeding clutch and a shitty feeding clutch.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
I don't think that there's enough research behind it to tell at this point.
There's not.
It's
all anecdotal.
But also remember the 2 biscuit clutches that we've had back-to-back years. One of them was a horrible clutch to get started, and then the year after, every single one of them ate.
Same exact pairing.
Same exact pairing.
Yeah. So I'm not a big believer in, the baby's a poor feeder as a baby. It's going to produce poor feeders. It's a great feeder as a baby. It's going to produce great feeders. I am just not a proponent of that theory.
Yeah. I would agree with that. But at the same time, I think our holdbacks are all the best eaters. And
you haven't seen my freight train holdback.
Well, okay. It depends on what they look like.
No, okay, but here's another good thing. Like Bill said, we love these things, right? But what if that pick of the litter, or pick of the clutch, like the one that, like the Gasanova, right?
Yeah.
It's the weakest fucking one.
See, it's so hard. No, you're right. It's so hard because but it also depends. Okay, so like if you have a clutch that all looks relatively the same, you're going to keep the best eaters, right? But if you have one that's a standout baby, like it's just black and powderless, but it's the worst eater, you're going to put all your effort into that, and that's going to be your holdback, right?
Technically,
So-
it's going to be a holdback, and I'm not going to tell anyone it's a weak eater.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
What difference does it make?
But-
It's not going
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah, it's still black, motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere. It's staying right here.
It's hard, but like whenever I get to pick mine out from Bill's, I generally I look at the cards first and I say, okay, which ones are the best eaters, and then I'll see what they look like, and I'll pick the best looking one from the best eaters.
Do you have your customers ever ask me how kind of an eater like this, especially like someone dropping 5-6K with you?
Yeah.
Do they ever ask you like, is it a picky eater or?
Well, I would never send off an animal that wasn't
That's not
just
smashing.
smashing. Now that
Yeah.
doesn't mean that it started out slow.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
I mean,
and I've had people ask me, or in fact, I will tell them, now listen, I have this animal left from this clutch, all of its siblings sold because this one was a slow starter,
Yeah.
But
Would you price that differently?
No, I really wouldn't.
if it's had 20-30 meals, I mean,
Yeah, it's pretty-
some of these things
It
just
don't
start,
matter how it starts.
yeah,
you got 20
I mean,
meals.
yeah, like
some
you,
of
look
them,
at that the same way.
some of them
Yeah.
just start slower than others. It
Yeah.
takes them longer to figure out
Yeah.
because they're eating something that they're not supposed
yeah,
to.
both me or Bill, we would never send out an animal that didn't have a ton of meals in them.
Yeah, they got to
know.
be smashing.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, both my productions from Bill smashing within 24 hours. Well, actually, the one from Alex Warren out of ASF it, but still took it like a motherfucker, and already dropped the solid shit. Okay, let's talk about bowel movements for a younger snake. Is it something you should be concerned about? Like, should you track bowel movements? Because a lot of people like to take notes of like meals and sheds, but tracking shits important or not?
I've never tracked shits other than if I see that they're backed up, I might either skip a meal that week or I'll put them in the shower or something like that. But I
Can
don't.
you elaborate the shower.
Rain chamber.
Yeah, rain chamber or
How
I'll.
does Alex do his chamber? I'm just curious how you do
So
the rain
I actually do both. Like sometimes I'll take them out in the backyard and spray them, mist them with the hose, and sometimes I actually have like a box that I put together with a bunch of holes in it, and I'll put them in that and put them in the shower. So I
Isn't
kind of
it
just
crazy
do
how
or.
I mean, depending on your water pressure, I try to explain this to my wife. I'm sorry, but there's something about that shower water pressure that
Yeah.
makes them shit so quick versus me spraying them or
Yeah.
to the hose. And I think a lot of it has to do with the temperature too, because I can
Yeah.
feel the temps.
Yeah, that's a big one. Make sure the
Ain't-
temperature is
cold water ain't
yeah.
gonna make shit. Cold
Yeah.
water's gonna fucking
But also
make
make
that
sure it's not
hard.
too hot
Obviously,
because
you wanna cook
that's a
it.
really important
And
thing
watch
for
out the
me.
acne is too hot.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
for
good.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's more of like an emerald thing. Like emerald breeders seem to be really on top of their shits for some reason. like
Dude, I don't
I've
know.
got no comment.
they are. I mean I hear about emerald breeders all the time talking about like, oh, this snake hasn't shit in 3 meals, so I'm not gonna feed it or
I'm gonna say this
whatever.
right now, for the record, emerald keepers are way more hillbilly than chondro keepers. bro. Like chondro keepers.
Tim Park is not hillbilly at all.
Hold on,
Dude.
no, Tim. Don't listen to this guy, bro. He's a racist.
What?
No, why do you have to bring up Tim for? That's my dog, bro.
Because he's not hillbilly.
He's-
You just called emeralds hillbillies.
Damn, I take that back now. No, but what I'm saying is like emeralds in a sense, like they're just not as clockwork as chondros. Like chondros, if you have everything right and everything going for them, they will shit the way they need to shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Emeralds, you have to do a little extra for them, you know?
Yeah.
But then you have people who argue that, like Warren Booth. Warren Booth is like, you should never have to fucking chamber anything to shit.
Yeah.
It should be shitting on its own. But then he also says he goes 3 meals without it shitting, and I go, wow. I panic. Like I cannot go more than 2 meals for my emerald until it shits. Almost anything. Like I need to see a shit. You know what I mean?
No, we don't worry about
Do,
that.
do you keep track of it though? Do you write down whenever your emerald shit?
No, I mentally, because because it's kind of like where like I just know when it needs a shit. Like I
Yeah.
look and I go, you need a shit.
Yeah.
And then
That's what.
Well, yeah, we're kind of the same way. Yeah.
But I never have to go physically do anything for my chondros to shit. Like my chondros will shit when they need to shit. My emeralds, I physically need to do something for them to shit.
And then now
Really?
we'll work chondros sometimes.
Yeah.
A lot of times just getting it out and handling it, giving a little
That works too,
exercise,
no, yeah.
put
Yeah.
it back in, the next day it's shit. Or we'll soak it overnight. And
Yeah.
it's shit.
So I'm gonna spill some beans right now. I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of like what's a rivalry in the NFL? I would say well, I don't want to say Cowboys because they suck.
That's true. They do suck.
You don't even follow football. You
I
don't
know the
even what you're
Cowboys suck
talking
though.
about. and you don't know what you're talking about either.
I don't know what I was gonna say.
How about-
I had a really good comparison right now. And what were we just talking about right now before I said
Emerald shitting.
Yeah. I don't know. Damn, I just thought it would be fun to make fun of Cowboys.
We were talking about shit and Cowboys. I mean,
There's
kind of goes
comparisons.
together, right?
I was gonna compare something with that. Either way, definitely different. Like beast to tackle. But you know, at the end of the day, I heard chondros are the biggest heartbreaker. I mean, even I don't want to say Ed said it, but chondros fucking will be the biggest tester out of everything. I
Yeah.
feel like.
For me, they've been, you know, the highest of the high, and
Yeah, and the
I wouldn't
low.
say the lowest of the low. I've had some big low chondro moments, but the highs have so far outpassed the lows that it's not even comparable.
Has the sickness passing away that low? Has that made up yet?
Oh yeah, definitely. It took me about a year to get over it, but knowing that he sired a nice clutch, and knowing that I have offspring from his offspring this year, is pretty much, you know, just it's made things a lot better.
Does sicknesses passing kind of stress you out a little bit with your heaviest hitters now? Like, are you kind of like just always looking for things, or like, I mean, for instance,
No.
what was it that killed sickness? Do we even know? Or?
Yeah, I got a necropsion sickness.
Cancer?
Texas A&M. Yeah, renal tumor.
Oh,
renal kidney tumor cancer.
So he's an alcoholic.
No, that would have been a liver.
Oh, sorry.
And he had a coexisting renal failure, and his death was a complete shock. You know, I just came in and found him on the floor dead. He'd eaten a couple of weeks earlier, just total shock and awe.
Like morning, you walked into the room and he was rolled out.
Yep.
And at that point, what was the sickness like? What was that snake to you at that point? Like the biggest breeder you had?
At that point, it was the mainstay of my collection. It was, in a lot of ways, what put me on the green tree, you know, map, so to speak. A lot of people knew me from the sickness.
I mean, it's a sickness.
I mean, it was
Such an iconic snake.
It was an iconic snake.
Before your time, right, Alex? You know,
I saw the sickness.
you did.
Yeah, I have pictures with the
Yeah, the
sickness.
sickness died
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
You've been around that long.
yeah.
So technically, Alex. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't.
That's
Alex-
3 years ago.
I started here
3
before
years
the
ago.
pandemic.
So when I first visited you, he was already here.
Yeah,
Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't get to meet. the
I've
sickness.
been here before the pandemic started.
Yeah, we moved here.
Yeah.
And the
in
sickness
this place.
died not even a year before the pandemic, right?
No, after the sickness died in summer of 2020. Yeah.
Right before it started.
So 3 years
Dude,
ago.
you know how many legendary snakes die with Forrest? Sucks.
Yeah,
Remember his giant bird, blue?
Yeah, beautiful animal. Beautiful.
Crazy, bro.
What about his black emerald?
Oh my God, remember that?
thing? I saw that thing at the Arlington NARBC. That's where he got it.
I'll never forget.
Beautiful, beautiful. He got it from who's the
Joe, I thought. You didn't get him
no,
Toscan?
no, he got it from the guy that owns the reptile place here.
the DFW Reptarium.
Yeah, DFW Reptarium. That's who had it.
I can't remember. I don't know his name.
Wonder, do you
Black
guys
and
remember what he
Arrow
paid
is
for it?
No, a lot of money.
I think I saw it on a YouTube video. I think he said $5,000.
And honestly, $5,000 was a shit for Forrest back then. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen the guy spent 10 for
Probably just give him rodent credit or something.
That's what it was. Honest,
Yeah.
bro. I figured that out. God damn it, man. Rodents is just as good as money. And you-
Oh, it is. Yeah, I would take
Here's
rodent
the thing.
credit. Yeah,
Here's the thing. Patrick Holmes, you get whatever snake he wants, because guess what? He has something that motherfucker wants. That's kind of how this game goes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But nothing will surpass rodents, because that's what feeds your fucking animals. Like that's free groceries.
yeah,
It is.
You know, imagine a sponsor taking care of your family's groceries.
yeah.
Oh my God.
It is.
Every
It's the same
reptile
as money.
breeder, yeah, every reptile breeder would take rodent credit. Yeah,
And
over.
we're talking
Yeah,
about like somebody with a big collection.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And you know, Forrest knew what he was doing. Like he knew every time he was dealing with somebody, they had a massive collection, and they know that motherfucker. I got something that you need, and that's rodents. That's I learned a lot from Forrest, man. Forrest is a good man. I miss that guy, man. What do you think Forrest would think right now about what's going on with? I mean, not only with you, but just in general. Like, I mean, let me rephrase that. What do you think? How do you think Forrest would fit in right now? Like, how would you think Forrest would fit in during this time right now?
It's a great question.
Crazy question, right?
Yeah, it's a great
I
question.
missed the shit out. I just had a crazy visual dream of him. Like, it was very vivid. Like, you know, you remember one of those dreams and you wake up and you're like, did that just happen? And man, so much has grown with Forrest not being here. So I just always wonder what it's like. Well, how would Forrest fit in all this? Honestly, I see Forrest sitting right here. Like, I do see Forrest always being traveling with me. I've been traveling.
Yeah.
I love Matthew Summers. Don't get me wrong, but I see Forrest being like, he's my road dog. He's co-hosting
right by
everything,
your side.
right?
He could sit here and we could scooch Alan out of the
No,
way.
me and Alex would be the smallest guys in the room.
Oh, for
Forrest
sure,
is just
yeah.
the biggest fucking build. Forrest
Yeah.
is big.
Forrest is a big guy.
He's a big fucking guy, bro. Like, and all that, his personality was huge too.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
You know, everybody loved Forrest, and Forrest made everybody feel like
Special.
Like
Yeah.
they were his best friend.
He listened to you.
Yeah,
And,
he
you know,
did.
it's
He did
crazy.
listen. He listened. He asked questions, and he was special.
You have people that listen to you, and you have people that like ask questions because they're listening so much to you. And Forrest would like ask you stuff after you said it, and it's like, wow, this guy's really
He's listening to me.
he cares.
He's paying attention.
And he'll immediately relate it to something that he has going on, and it's like, holy shit, like bro, if it wasn't for, not that this is a good thing, I always tell people don't fucking do this, but the only reason why I was able to get where I'm at with the chondros is because I saw how Forrest used to keep them, and he kept them in sterilite fucking Target tubs on a rack. And I was like, wait, you could do this?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying do it, but motherfucker, that's what I could afford. And that's what I learned to do. And I got to tell you, as soon as I realized, okay, you could get away with getting these in tubs, I knew I didn't want this forever. Like, I was like, I don't want, like, but at the end of the day, like, you could easily do this. Like, this isn't, like, Forrest taught me something that I thought was impossible. It's not impossible. Like,
they do great. They do great in tubs. Shit, I've bred them. I've bred a female in a tub.
Dude, my homie Coach Rice, Christian Rice. Is his name right? Yeah, from Florida. Spirit Snake. He works with Northern Emeralds, but he's also bred chondros as well. And I don't want to say all his stuff's out of tubs, but the majority of his shit is out of tubs. And it all looks clean. I mean, you follow Christian, right?
Yeah.
I don't know who he is.
Chris Rice.
Yeah. Snake Spirit. Or, yeah.
I just had him on a show with Warren Booth.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a big emerald guy.
He's a big, and somebody's successful at doing it.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the snake knows the difference between an enclosure and a tub. Like, I think it's the same thing.
It's the fresh water.
Yeah.
It's taking it out, stretching it out, letting it shit. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like interacting with
and
it.
you know, the other thing about Christopher Rice is that, you look at his stories and like all of his perches are like something from the dollar store. Like they're just simple, easy, like, and but he's pretty, but he's pretty, dude, he gets like what, 2 litters a year or something like that. Like
that right there, though. I mean, for the emerald world, that's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Nobody's
it's
doing that, really.
Yeah, it's not about the stuff you have. It's just about how you use it.
Since we're talking to emerald, I want to give some respect to somebody out there in the emerald world who was able to continue the Miss Willie line legacy. Miss Willie line relates to Rico Wilder.
Yeah.
Ryan Wollison. I don't know if you know who Ryan Wollison is.
I know the name.
Really, also good friend of Forrest's and whatnot. And he's the reason why I'm so like probably nuts over my Miss Willie line emerald tree boas, because they all came from Rico. Like, I have snakes that Forrest, like I have 2 snakes that Forrest physically told me were his favorite snakes because who they came from.
Yeah.
And now I own those snakes. So it's kind of like it all means something. And then obviously I have a male Miss Willie line that came directly from Ryan Wilson, and of course Ryan didn't want to sell it. But then again, talking to Forrest Fanning, so Forrest is like, here, take this card. It's black. It has no limit. Charge what you want, motherfucker.
I've told Alex, many times before, everything is for sale.
I mean, at the end of the day, it is.
Right?
It's how deep are your pockets.
It technically is, yeah. I mean, you're right. It depends how deep your pockets are, and for this stuff, you better be reaching pretty deep.
Depends on the buyer.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I love that we're talking about deep pockets, but how did you really approach selling snakes to somebody like Justin Cabelka, where you kind of know his pockets are endless? Like, like like I have a there's a saying: a strength overdone becomes a weakness. Like if you're really good at something, you overdo it, you can kind of like backfire. And I feel like if I had a position to sell Justin Gabelka something, I would probably ruin it by doing like too much. But I'm curious, you looking at someone like Justin who could take things to a whole other level. Like, how did you approach like talking to him about snakes, the pricing, like how to somebody like Justin Gabelka? And I know I've seen you sell to NFL players. I've seen you sell to fucking people who have endless pockets. But like Justin, somebody attached to the reptile industry, how did you approach selling to somebody like that?
Well, Justin's the perfect person to have a green tree because give it away. It doesn't matter the price because he will take good care of it and he'll promote it. And that to me, that's more important than getting any money out of an animal from somebody like Justin, because he'll be the one that will go on his social media and he'll say, look, it's a green tree. It's not biting my fingers. It's not biting my face. I take it out. It's cool. It's easy to take care of. To me, that's much more important than any monetary value, as opposed to, me selling to Leonard Williams, who super great guy, a lot of money, pays good money, but the community never hear from him again, right?
Yeah,
He's got this awesome green tree and he's got it in his collection. Back to his life. Yeah, he goes back to his life. Yeah. So to me, it
depends who you're selling to.
Depends who you're selling to.
I mean, I just look at things where, shit, you got Bob Booth potentially coming by tomorrow.
I hope Bob comes by.
You don't think I remember the story of Bob Booth fucking window shopping your table and asking, oh wow, a couple $1,000 for this snake, and he has stuff labeled at $6,000, $7,000, $10,000.
Do you remember that?
I remember that
in RBC.
I wasn't there, but you told me the story. Like, you were there and you saw this ball python guy, kind of like, oh, I really want one, and you're like, that Bob Booth? Like
that was back when you could get a designer for $2,000. Like a nice designer.
Well, tell him the story, the screenshot you sent me the other day.
Oh yeah, I sent Alex a screenshot of somebody that messaged me over a totally unrelated thing. But I went back and I looked at the conversation we had. Was it 2018?
Yeah, it was the sickness clutch.
Yeah, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to buy an animal, and I said it was what, $1,500.
Mm-hmm. It was like $1,250.
$1,250
for a sickness offspring.
$1,250 for the sibling to the sickness.
Oh, was it? It was a sibling to the sickness?
Sibling, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
$1,250
for a sibling to the sibling.
Not buying it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I texted that to Alex, and he responds back and goes, "That's a down payment now."
Yeah, that's dude. And that was only 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know Bill can't track it all, but imagine the shit that got away from this guy.
Oh, we track it. We see it. Yeah.
But not from everyone.
Rubbing it in.
Yeah.
Life's RHACS chondros. You see the shit you gave
him?
Do you see the shit I've given him?
Yeah,
but hold on. Like this guy right here puts in, and I love Juan. Don't get me wrong, my boy. I'm happy that someone like him got.
Yeah.
But holy shit, the price tag does not match the snake, and that's how it be sometimes.
I'm happy that anybody gets an animal that changes like that. There was a guy, and I can't remember. I told this story on a recent podcast, that bought a Jaeger biscuit baby from me 2 years ago, and he contacted me, and it was the last one I had. Nobody had bought it. Like everybody, it was a big clutch, probably 14, 16 animals. It was the last red I had left. Do you have anything left? I go, I have one left. He goes, okay, I'll take it. And he paid for it. It turned out to be
craziest one.
The craziest. It
looks like the sickness.
It looks like the sickness.
You couldn't predict it?
No. If I could have predicted, I would have kept it.
Yeah, right.
Dude, it was a light red.
It was just a regular red Neo. It looks like the sickness.
Neo, and this thing looks more like the sickness than any other animal I've ever produced.
How old was it when you let it go?
It was just, like 6 months old.
Yeah.
And okay, because of that experience, what are you doing now? Like, are you? I don't know. Like, Bill, you just sent me something that's not more than 6 months old.
Dude,
it's turning crazy too.
It's already turning. Yeah, yours is already turning.
Okay, what's crazy is like you can see where, like, what darkness is coming from where.
Yeah.
And the belly is light, but the top part of the body is like dark. It's
It's a good sign.
Yeah, it's a good sign. Yeah.
And it's the reason why you buy unchanged Neos. Because
Yeah.
This excitement, even if it goes on, to be green, you got two things going for you. The change is fucking awesome, and you still have the genetics of the sickness of sire in that animal.
because you don't know what it's packing.
You don't know what it's packing. So
That's
I love selling them. I love seeing people that get them and just burn me. Like look at this motherfucker that you let go.
right.
It's the best advertising there is for me, because I think some people think there's this theory that green tree breeders know they hold back all the best ones. They hold back everything else is going to turn shit. They're going to hold back the best ones. And I think if any one person on the planet is proving that is not the case,
Yeah.
it's me.
Yeah. I've seen Bill let go of so much crazy stuff. Like,
So what's Alex Warren going to do then? Like let's talk about stuff that. Period. How long do you want to keep your Neos for before you let them go?
well, it depends on what they are.
Let's
So,
talk about the bombest clutch of what you
so
have going on.
let's say I breed the Christian Stewart animal to one of the
Yes.
Bills.
Yes.
Oh, that's a tough one. And honestly, I guess the short answer is I don't know as of right now.
Well, shouldn't the right answer be like it doesn't matter until the first year?
What do you mean?
Like, why should you even care about what to sell until after a year of having it? 'Cause
Well,
that's where you see the direction where it's headed.
Yeah.
But some of the allure to buyers is they don't
The
know, and
anticipation.
you don't know
Yeah.
what it's going to turn into.
yeah.
So, for example, you could sell a
So
red
holdback
Neo.
wise, it's smarter to keep it longer, but
Yeah.
selling wise,
It's
people
better to get
want,
rid of it.
Like that
Actually,
old-
well, okay.
Well, they want that chance.
Selling
Maybe-
wise, it's better to sell it during OCC because that's when it looks the best.
Yeah.
It always looks
Oh,
the
is that why you
craziest
sent me
during.
those OCC pics?
Yeah,
Favorite
you're welcome.
fucker? Dude, he got me.
Got
I didn't
him.
got you.
No, they did it
No.
because what's crazy, bro? Like, oh my god, the snake you sent me is legitimate the replacement in a sense, if not better than the snake I had from Tim. So Tim had a designer from James Opdale. Shout out to James Opdale. And I required this designer from Tim, and it didn't do too well. But his name was Nipsey Hussle, and he was fucking crazy looking. He had a lot of black going on in him. Never perched right there. He had like a perching thing, like half his lower body could never be with the rest. It always hung, and I was like, well, that's not good. But I love, like, here's the thing, like, I love the wide range of designers. Like, dude, pick your fucking poison, what you want, right? But me personally, it's the dark green black, like that dark green black stuff is that's my jam. I'm trying to think who really has that dark green. I know Socrates has a Zeus line from shout out to Frank. Shout out to Frank. You know Zeus? You know so you know that dark. That I'm talking about. It's black. It's a black snake.
It's black and blue.
Right,
Yeah.
Right. But then there's also that, like, you know, that Gatorade. You see that Gatorade fridge? You see that dark green?
Yeah.
That
You like
is
that too?
appealing to me. Yes. Like, that is something I've always wanted to implement. Was that dark?
Well, that could
dark green and
That
dark
could be
black.
that animal.
It is that.
you have,
No. That's what I'm saying. But the OCC, like, I didn't think that the animal would be like that. Like, it's crazy what you could think
Yeah.
the animal is going to and what it ends up. But I will tell you one thing though, especially with the animal I just bought off you, Alex, that thing ain't done changing. Like, it's gonna always, from what I can predict, 5 years from now, it's gonna look like a fucking different snake.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, yeah,
There's no
that's-
doubt it's
yeah.
going to change it.
That's the thing with green trees. I
But that's
mean,
the beauty
you know.
of what we like, this
Yeah.
is forever ongoing art changing.
Yeah.
But like, hopefully in a better sense, right? But I think that's why you work with what you want to work with. Everything we're talking about ages better with
Yeah.
you know
That's
what I mean?
that's why I like them so much. You know, because they do change their entire life. I mean, you could get a female that is green, and then she gets gravid, goes hormonal blue, and then keeps that blue.
Or you can get a blue line animal that's green, and when it turns 5, it's blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Well, I mean, okay, can we talk about Vinsky Blue Line a little bit? Because I've seen based off pics that Vinsky Blue Line could be in a snake that's the most greenest, normal looking green tree python, but when you produce it to the right snake, it keeps something completely different. But there's a lot of stuff, like, kind of going back to what Bill was saying, like, you can't really judge what a snake is capable of if you're not going to breed it,
Yeah.
right? Like, you have a
That's
snake
very
that-
true.
you have
I
a
mean,
snake
look at
that-
Jaeger.
I mean, how many sicknesses siblings didn't look like the sickness.
Yeah, I mean, none of them looked like the sickness.
Was he that original? Like, was he that like, holy shit? Like you, like not one sibling could compare to that sig? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, when he hatched, that there was no doubt that he was special out of the clutch. But I repeated that pairing, and I had other animals, neos, that looked very similar to him. And I thought for sure, like, oh my god, this is going to be another sickness.
This animal right here.
Yeah, this animal. Sorry, behind
Epidemic.
us, who's a beautiful animal.
You want to sell it?
Well, I'm going to breed her this year, and then everything's for sale.
I'm just trying to be an Alex Warren. So.
How much for your baby? How much for your baby?
What? I don't have babies.
No, your baby.
Oh, Leo.
Yeah.
Free shipping. Just kidding, Lily. Look.
Lily's not watching. But I had animals from the exact same pairing that look exactly like the sickness as a baby. Didn't turn out anything like it. So just what a wild ride, what a roller coaster.
So there's a percentage out there I've heard from the emeralds, like, okay, 10% of it will look like the parents, and then this percentage will look better, and then this percent will look worse. What would you say like the ratio is from what you've seen? Like how many of the productions are either looking better than the parents?
That's a great question.
Looking less better or looking like the same?
Yeah.
What do you
Boy,
think?
that is a great question.
Because I think a lot of that into consideration. Like I think, like for instance, if I had a sickness, if I had the sickness, I would think whatever I put to the sickness is going to be the sickness. But that's not really the case. And we're talking about maybe because, okay, I'm not saying green tree pythons are morphs, but if you put a pied ball python to a regular ball python, you're not going to get all pieds, right? But if you breed those back to each other, will you get pieds? Yes. Could that possibly be the thing with chondros? And we don't even know it yet. We don't know it yet.
I think it's possible.
Like, what if the sickness is a recessive?
Yeah, it's possible.
I don't think it is because the sickness has produced animals that have all varying degrees of the sickness. None of them look as what I would call perfect. To me, he's the perfect green tree, like as far as color pattern. But he has produced a barrage of animals that are on a spectrum. Okay, some of them look really close to him.
Like things that complement him.
Contagion.
Like Contagion is it's not as black as the sickness, but it's
close.
Not too far off.
Yeah.
And then you've got other animals that the sickness produced that are pretty fucking green.
Okay, your darkest reds this year. What do you feel about those?
I say just nothing but fucking excitement.
And I know I know we can't predict things, but what would you say those are headed? Like, I mean, was the sickness ever that dark?
No, the sickness never looked as good as any of the freight train babies.
That's crazy.
That came out this year.
And freight train's no relation to sickness.
No.
That's crazy. So we're talking a whole other entity here.
Yeah.
A whole other beast.
Also,
like a new sickness. Like we have the sickness, God bless the sickness. But we have something that is the freight train.
I'm excited about his offspring as I was about the sickness's offspring.
I mean, I think you fucker, you Alex goddamn one. Did you get the third darkest one out of that clutch or something?
It was pretty dark.
Pretty close.
It was pretty dark.
I said you cannot have this one, or this one. And then he took that one.
Appreciate
pretty
it.
much how it went down.
Oh my God.
You can't have this one, or this one, but go ahead and pick. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I picked the darkest, best eating one, and it's damn near purple, It's dark.
Something like that. I can't guarantee it. We can't guarantee things, but like we have somebody trying to acquire something that's for sure going to be a certain color. Are you comfortable selling things like that? Like if someone's like, here, I'll give you fucking $7,000. Promise me it's going to turn blue.
Absolutely not. I would never guarantee. In fact,
are we ever going to get like that?
In fact, I undersell animals. I mean, the last thing I want to do is somebody to think that they're going to get another sickness or they're going to get something that's never been produced.
But what if it's your holdback?
What if it is?
Okay, how about you, Alex? Like, do you ever have something like if I okay, not even for boys, but if I'm like, yo, I want to pay you this money as long as I guarantee it gives me something crazy. Do you ever feel like you'll have something that you know, like you're comfortable selling, like, motherfucker, okay, give me $90,000. Like almost like a Casanova. Like I'm pretty sure Christian Stewart knew he could sell that snake the way he could sell it.
Yeah.
Dude, but
It's
Christian could get more for that animal now than he could when he sold it.
Yeah, he could.
Oh,
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So,
But then I don't know,
Christian
that
didn't.
deal was
But Christian wouldn't guarantee it.
No, he would never guarantee it. And I don't think any green tree
I
ripper
don't
would.
think anybody
Yeah.
would.
But the way I see that Casanova being raised, it's holding its potential.
I see what you're saying.
Every
Yeah.
time I'm like, dude, it's holding a potential.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Especially like if I bred that to something crazy that comes from Bill
And
collection.
mind you, like Bill's right now making the best reds he's ever made. Let's take this 5 years from now.
Yeah,
And let's say Bill's already used to making these reds.
yeah,
There might be a point in time where Bill's like, you know what? I know where this fucking thing's headed.
yeah,
And like sickness was something that happened based off what went down, but numbers is everything. So what if we have more numbers being played here, and you're like, whoa.
That may happen, but now's not the time.
Not yet.
And I'll give you the perfect example. It's when I repeated the pairing that produced the sickness, and 2 animals popped out that looked just like the sickness. And I could have easily said, same pairing, look at the sickness neopic, look at this neopic. You know, I guarantee it's going to look like the sickness.
But sickness
You
can
know
easily
what?
be a one-off.
Could for sure.
That's what you're saying.
The thing about the sickness is where I don't consider him a one-off is because the one clutch he produced some incredibly melanistic animals. You know, so I don't think he was like just like a freak where, you know, his genetics were not inheritable, because I think it was. But what I would never tell somebody is just because this red Neo looks like this red Neo means that it's going to turn into this adult.
You should know that if you're spending thousands and thousands of dollars on a green tree python, you know you should know what you're getting into.
I mean, I'm just throwing it out there, but Garrett's average prices for his snakes are 5-6K,
Yeah,
right? How many people are asking, are these going to turn blue?
yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's fair to ask, but I think it's also fair to answer correctly.
Yeah,
So okay, and so for instance, technically, what we were talking about earlier about the super blues and shit, right? He could confidently say this thing's going to turn blue, or no?
I don't think he can confidently say
And I
that.
don't think he will.
And I'll say
But
that.
I'm definitely not saying he will for sure. I'm thinking just like,
I mean, I'm just saying I've seen a lot of those snakes at that price turn green
really?
from Garrick. Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
And what I tell people is
Wow.
worst case scenario, you're going to end up with some great genetics.
yeah,
From-
yeah. There's
from-
amazing
yeah,
genetics in
from-
there.
from
Yeah,
a line, you know, of animals that, you know, are very sought after and, you know, not often available.
But I'm also thinking of the keepers, the bioactive side of things, right? Like the motherfuckers are like, I just want a blue snake. I don't give a fuck about
well,
your-
we all want a blue snake.
Yeah. Right. So, you know,
Get in line, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. Get in line.
and, you know, show me one for sale.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, show me one for sale.
That's a good point. I mean, you can say you want everything you want in this life, but where is it? Show me where it's available.
Right.
I don't know. You know what's crazy? We're bringing this up. How much are you to avoid, you Alex Warren, adding an adult to your collection? Not even from him, but being the fact that you're at the stage you're at, your legacy that you're building. How do you look at adding an adult to your collection?
I would do it for the right price.
How would you do it, though?
How would I do it? It would be quarantined for a long
Let's
time.
break that down. Like, how would you quarantine?
It would be in a separate room, and you know, with its own feeding tongs and
How long? Like, what do you like
6 months to a year with 3 NIDO tests and maybe even other tests as well. It would just go through a very long, strict quarantine before it's brought into the main room. But I'm not opposed to it.
So you wouldn't breed it the week you got it?
Yeah.
No.
No matter how good it looks.
Nope. I don't care how good it looks. Like, I mean, if it could be completely blue and black, and if it's going to kill my collection, why would I bring that in?
So do you want to know how I got my first Chondro clutch, which wasn't the best clutch? Probably the worst clutch I ever experienced was the importer I was working with at the time. Was like, bro, like your best bet is to if they're big enough, they're ready, pair them up right now. before they go into a state of shock and they don't want to breed. And I'm like, what is that a
Wow,
real thing?
that's
And so I went and I had this thing for a month and I paired it up.
yeah.
And sure enough, she laid all over the place. Didn't even pre-lay shed, just fucking laid 16 fucking eggs everywhere. And talk about a fucking dude. This is before my first ball python clutch. I was
Wow.
I was lost,
So you got
bro.
green trees before before ball pythons?
Yeah, did they,
wow.
Yeah, did they make it? No. Actually, no, my bad. The first Chapo, my very first original Chapo, came from that clutch. She dropped 16 eggs that were rolled everywhere. They were rolled everywhere. And Andrew Azabeda was like, bro, none of those things are gonna make it. Just so you know. He told me that she didn't want nothing to do with them. That's why she did that. I'm like, oh God. And so I went ahead and fucking put them all together anyways, right? And one of them made the distance. One of them went the distance. And you know,
Is that the one that Sock got and assisted?
No, that's the second one. That's Chapo 2.0. no, this Chapo actually ate on the, like this thing was like, it could have been my very first production that was here today, but I got knee surgery and I didn't have, not gonna lie, man, a lot of reptile people are ghetto. You know what I mean? And I didn't have an AC unit. I didn't have a mini split. I didn't have so the way my room was structured was like, you have to open the windows at this time and blah, 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 right? And I had a knee surgery that weekend. And I told my guy, bro, at this time, open up the windows. And I was in the hospital for 3 days. And the one thing he didn't do was open any windows. And so when I came home, I was like, I walked in my room, I fucking felt this huge heat wave. And I'm like, no. And I look, it's 92 in my room. And I'm like, this is so bad. And I go and sure enough, there it is, dead. And I'm like, motherfucker, But then again, I was like, dude, fuck, at least I had that experience, I guess. So that's why it's I don't know. First and foremost, are we kind of growing up to not work with imports anymore? I mean, how do you feel about imports?
Well, I'm not opposed to working with imports, but the import is getting treated the same as any snake that I bring it into my collection.
Where would Alex Warren walk?
Where would I buy an import? Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
especially if it came from Patrick.
Because if you're getting it from Patrick, it's been with him for over 2 years.
Yeah, for sure. I've bought imports off Patrick. But I've bought imports in the past, and I would go through those same people probably, or stuff comes up every now and then.
You've had a good experience.
Yeah, I've actually had good experiences with imports. But I've also gone through a lot, like the quarantine process and making sure they're healthy and parasite free and quarantined properly. Yeah. And I've had 1 or 2 die, and it happens. It's kind of just the way it is with these things.
Yeah, the super chat. You see that coming out from Orange County Chondros?
Yep. So big Ryan Glenn fan. I'm not gonna lie.
Ryan's gonna be here tomorrow.
Is he?
Yeah.
Dude.
I got you, dog.
Dude, okay, I'm not gonna lie, guys. Typically, I'm the one who has the heat on the guest list for Bill's party, but no, dude, Bill has the heat. He has. I mean, not only does he not have people I'm already invited, but he has some of the heaviest fuckers coming in the fucking game, bro. Like Ryan Glenn's pulling up tomorrow.
Yep.
Fucking Juan, my goddamn homie, he got a Ryan Glenn fucking production that is. Because it was a yellow. Let's look it up. It was a yellow neonate. Now it's turning blue.
Wow. Interesting how that works, right?
Have you met Ryan?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Ryan's a great guy.
How do you know Ryan? Other than the Chondro community, have you ever met him in person?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you have?
Oh yeah. Many times. He was. I was a mentor to Ryan for a long time. He got his first green tree from me. In fact, the animals that he produced, and I actually have one of his animals in the back room, sickness sibling, female.
How do you feel about that, Alex? Are you a little bit of jealousy that Ryan was the bigger impact for help with us?
Ryan never helped me.
No one's a bigger help than me.
Ryan never helped me.
Yeah.
Dude, I kid around at what it would cost to get Alex Warren over to California. I can't afford it.
No, you can't afford it. No way.
Good luck.
Free lab coat too, and I still can't afford it.
My own shed in the back and everything.
Free weed. He said, no, I can't do it, buddy.
It's hard to leave here.
But dude, doesn't that determine a lot for a lot of people, the help you have?
Dude, it's been a deal breaker. I mean, it's been what's made me. I literally could not have done what I've done in the last few years without not only Alex, but listen, You joke around about Jose. Jose,
Dude, you know what he told me? MJ, I'm going on my 10 years.
here.
Dude, 10 years. Jose in the fucking building.
Jose Gallo has been the most consistent person. Alex been very consistent.
Can I
too.
chip in on his bonus at all? Like, I want to help his Christmas bonus this year. I seriously, I seriously want.
He needs one.
Alex, you're a sick fuck, bro. He needs one.
Jose's getting his first chondro this year.
Yeah,
It's
he
already,
is.
It's already
Yeah.
back here with his name
Are
on
we
it.
okay with that? Should we think about this?
Sure. Yeah.
Does he know
yeah.
what's capable? Like, he should just
Yeah.
be happy what's here is his. Like, he should
Yeah.
He's going to do great.
Hey,
with
I'm-
it.
Dude, he
I'm-
breeds dogs.
Yeah, he does.
Not only
He's
does he breed dogs, he breeds Frenchies.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a whole different ballgame, man.
I thought a sticker on his wife's car. I'm like, bro, what's going on with this? Is this your car? No, it's my wife's car.
It's what Gallo Kennels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look
Shout
him up
out.
on Instagram.
Jose.
Like, Bill, no matter what happens with all of this, even Alex Warren, like, Jose, man, like that guy right there.
He's like I was saying, I could not have done this without Alex, Jose, and a couple other people. Logan. I went through a period where I had 2 major surgeries in 2 years. Ankle fusion where
Yeah.
I could not
You were
walk.
handicapped.
I literally could not walk. I couldn't work in this room
Yeah.
for months and months and months. And those guys, pitched
Came out.
in, never asked for anything extra. They, so solid. And Jose was part of that. So I love Jose.
Yeah, man. But also, I don't know, Bill. Like, they also have to love who they're working for too.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, it literally is like a family relationship that I feel like I have with these guys.
I mean, because let's think about, we don't need to name drop anyone, but let's think about how many people give other people like this opportunities, and they're just big piece of shits. Like they don't give that time of day to the person helping them out. And all I see is you trying to fucking give praise. Even Jose, like you, MJ, make sure if you come over to my house, get Jose a shirt. He wants a shirt.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that, like little small stuff. And mind you, bro, I don't know what I've done in this life to ever ask for an autograph, but yes, my autograph. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, that's insane. But I'll do it because it's fucking Jose, and I love him to death. But that little type of things you get in this hobby will make you feel like more than you ever feel like you should be worth. And Jose just man, I love that guy. Like that's somebody where, yeah, I know for a fact at the end of the day he's a pain in the ass, but sometimes like I would like to pay you so much more than what, I don't know, even having Alex Warren, just do an extra, because you're in a position where you have the help, man.
I mean, I can't say enough about both of those guys. Jose has been with me the longest, and he would literally do anything for me.
You ride or die, bro.
He would do anything that I asked him to do. He no question. It would be okay, boss. I'll do it. I'll take care of it.
Jose, say fuck Miguel Garcia. I got it. No problem.
Yeah.
He may not be back.
Yeah.
Okay, that may be going a little.
Sorry,
too
man.
far.
It's Mexican. We love you. We love each other.
But I've told you before, I'm so blessed to have the people, that have helped me, because I there's no way I could have done this without these guys' help. So just super blessed, man. And that's really coming from my heart.
Let's wrap things up with kind of explaining in your own words what this chondro community actually means to you and what you feel like it means to the industry itself. And why don't you go first, Alex?
I'm sorry. I was reading the chat. You said,
Reading
sorry.
the chat.
I'm
Come
sorry.
on, you can fanboy later.
So the chondro community as a whole, what does it mean to you, and what do you feel like it means to the industry, as a whole, and going into futuristic things?
I mean, I think it's everything. It seems like more and more people that are into other species are coming into chondros, and I think it's going to be one of the biggest reptiles. I think that one day it might even take over ball pythons. And I would like to be in the community, helping that as much as I can.
I was gonna type that yellows look more like diarrhea, but
Ruined
Say
it.
that, Bill, like
Ruined
that.
it.
Well, before I give kind of my final pitch, I noticed you're wearing a Phoenix Reptiles.
Should we please give this logo a
Oh,
shout out? Dude,
And
this is so sick.
Dude.
By the way, who made this?
all right, listen, my customer and very good friend, Brett McQuarrie from Canada, he's Skeleton Face Studio on Instagram.
Skeleton Face Studio. on
Skeleton
IG.
Face
I'll put
Studio
that-
on
I'll actually put
Instagram.
that in the description below.
Brett McQuarrie, great guy. He reached out to me about a year ago and he said, Bill, your logo looks like shit. And I said, you know what?
Yeah, it's logo. I mean,
I said, you know what?
you know why they did carpet?
It doesn't look like shit, but I haven't produced a carpet python
Yeah.
in 6 years.
He's got a
So
point.
outdated, bro.
He's
So,
got a point.
You know, I felt like, yeah, you're right. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And Brett is a very, very high-end tattoo artist in Canada.
Nice.
And if you get on Skeleton Face Studios, you'll see his work. And so he reached out to me and said, "Listen, let me do something for you." And he sent me a thing, and we tweaked it a little bit, and he came out with this logo that I think is just freaking fantastic.
I love it.
Um,
What snake is this? Is this a specific snake?
No, it's not a specific snake.
Not a carpantro?
No, it's not a carpantro.
Right.
Gary wouldn't wear that T-shirt if it was a carpantro.
You know what? Fuck Gary. I'm just kidding. We love Gary. Gary, you're the man. You're not here right now, of course, but you're the man.
Because he's in bed. He's asleep.
He's in bed, yeah. Old people sleep.
But anyway, I wanted to really thank him for doing what he did for me. He never asked for anything.
Do you have stickers coming soon, or what's going on?
I got stickers already. You saw my shoes.
You got bands? Oh, we got
some
the
shoes. I
bands.
got some shoes. But for now, just the shirt, and I just really appreciative of the work that he did on it. So
Okay.
okay, so I wanted to just get that out there.
But what about the rumors about you being at Tinley this year?
Oh, I'll be at Tinley. Oh yeah, are you going to Tinley?
Maybe.
Whoa, Alex, why shouldn't you be at Tinley?
That's a very good question.
Actually, hold off. Wait, go to March when I'm there, because I'm not going to be there next month.
We'll see. I don't know yet.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I got to ask you, Alex, what do shows even mean to you? Like, and what I say mean to you, like, do you ever have ambitions of being that Rico Wilder at a fucking Arlington where you just have all your shit to show off? Like, and not even
Oh,
to
man.
sell, but I'm just here to fucking floss. on
So you
motherfuckers.
mean like kind of like Justin Kubelka? Like he doesn't necessarily go to sell. He goes.
markets.
He markets.
Yes.
It's.
We have nobody doing that in the Conjure game right now.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
You
It's
wear my Canova shirt,
it's
right?
in the cards. It's in the cards. Maybe.
You're not opposed to it.
I'm not opposed to it. I don't plan on it right now, but I'm not opposed to it.
Right.
Could happen one day.
I'm glad.
I would love to be able to bring 30 baby green trees.
Yeah.
And set them up on a booth and then there.
You rather do Tinley over Arlington, your own fucking backyard?
You know what?
Texas people piss you off that much?
I would just like to go where I could
Be respected?
spread some knowledge, like Captain Bread Green Trees.
Come to a super show then. Fuck Tinley.
Okay.
We need you at Pomona, bro.
I'll go to Super Show.
We need
It's
you,
same-
dude.
to me, it's the same thing.
You went to
it's a big-
Lolita's. You
Yeah.
know what the deal is.
Yep.
All right. Shout out to Juan Farfan, my boy, Life's Rad's Contro. Yeah. And Juan's a good fan of yours as well. I gotta
Yeah.
say,
Me and
bro,
me and
like,
Juan talk a lot.
Don't you guys think Juan should be here next time I'm here? Like, don't you
Yeah,
feel like
I'm-
he should
Why
be here?
isn't he here now?
Yeah.
Because exactly. I mean, he has a kid, but so do I, and I'm here. What the fuck? Juan, what's the problem? I don't.
And I got a grandkid.
I'm not gonna lie. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I reached out to Juan hoping he would back me up. Like, bro, my wife's gonna question me right now. I would like for you to be like, hey, I'm gonna go with you, and I can be
Yeah.
like, hey, wife, Juan's coming with me. So he also has a newborn too.
But he
no,
backed out.
he
on
said,
you
no,
guys.
bro, I'm not ready for that shit. I'm like, oh goddamn.
What?
baby.
He's like, are you
Dude.
crazy? I have a newborn. What are you thinking?
No, shout out to Juan, but Juan has painted so much legitimate picture in my head. And I told fucking Bill and Kim this earlier, and I do love the fact that I have my routine where I walk into the snake room and I just put Leo down. But Juan, I asked Juan, like, because I take pictures of Leo in my room. And Juan's like, dude, this is epic. I'm like, where the fuck's your pictures with you and your son? He's like, bro, my son breaks, like, he's trying to break the glass. Like, he's so big to where he, like, pounds on the glass. And I'm like, oh, my God. So you're telling me what's happening right now for me is very, like, this is not permanent? Like holy holy shit, there's gonna have to be a time and place where I lock this kid out of this room. It's probably gonna be the case, bro. I don't see Leo being like, oh yes, Dad, I won't go into that cage. No, I see
Leo
Yeah,
smash.
yeah.
Leo smash.
Yeah, I see Leo fucking being with the laces.
Yeah.
Inside the fucking, you know what I
Oh
mean?
man.
So
Hey, that's actually kind of cool though.
I mean, yeah. And what about your wife?
Yeah, what about if it's your snake?
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah. What if
I
it's-
guess
what if
I didn't
it's-
think that far ahead.
What if it's Gasanova and my kid's
Yeah,
mouth?
have
Okay,
it
well
over
that's
there.
different. That's not funny.
Dude, honestly, what wasn't funny was the hotness on tonight's episode. This was great. Alex, I've said this before. I'll say this again. One of many podcasts I will have you on. You're a fucking force to be reckoned with. All right. But for everyone out there who's recently followed you, who's been following you, either way, anyone out there who wants to see you win, what do you have to say to all your supporters out there? We had just shy of 70 people tapped in. So what do you have to say to everyone out there?
I appreciate it. You know, I'm super grateful that that you bring me on the podcast for round 2, especially.
I told you I would.
Yeah, you did, and you kept your word. So I just appreciate it. I love this community, and I love being accepted in it. Especially the Texas community here. Like I've just been accepted so much so quickly in it. So I just appreciate it.
Bill, what do you have to say to Alex, man? I mean, like, you have your boy right here for the first time on a podcast. You got to fill him out a little bit where he's at. But what do you have to say to your boy Alex, and any word of motivation for him?
I've told Alex before, usually after a couple bottles of wine, how he's the age he could be my son. Okay, right?
You too, actually. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
You are. Both you guys are. And I'm just I've told you how happy that I was just to have him as part of what I do almost every day. Alex comes 2 or 3 times a week. But I'm proud of Alex. Alex is a grinder.
Yeah.
Alex is somebody who's dependable. When he told me what he wanted, it's like anytime you meet anybody else and they say, that they want to do something, well, you're a little skeptical, right? Until they do it.
Well, it's kind of like what your mission is, what's your ammo, what's your energy about, and that's the thing that almost anyone naturally should think about. Like, why is this person coming to me with this type of motivation?
Yeah.
A lot of people have the motivation, but a lot of that is short-lived.
Right. It's a
and
hype. It's a hype.
It's a hype, and they don't want to go through the grind. Coming over here consistently, and when I say consistently,
especially COVID hype. There
Yeah.
was a COVID hype.
Yeah.
Like, motherfuckers, I ain't got to go to work. Fuck it, I'll be a snake breeder. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of hype, but I feel like that none of that really applied to Alex. I don't feel like I mean,
just like so consistent over such a prolonged period of time. Then
Yeah.
you just you just get comfortable with them, and now I don't even question well, is Alex going to be here Monday? Is Alex going to be here Friday? Do I ever have to text him? No, are you going to be here? Do I need to do this? I
Yeah.
just know, he's gonna fucking take care of it. And if I have to go out of town, then he'll come. He'd come every day.
Yeah.
If I needed it,
I mean,
if it was
it's
that time of the year. Said, listen, babies are hatching, man. You got to get over there.
Yeah.
Take care of. Unfortunately, the last
That's
babies that
happened,
hatched,
yeah.
we were at your place.
Yeah.
The Condor babies were hatching. I had to get my damn wife out here to take care of the damn
that's what you
babies.
did. The nicest ones, right?
Yeah.
We're,
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're so
Yes.
good. You're like,
Yeah.
yo, I just hatched the darkest snakes ever. I'm
Yeah.
like, what?
And when we're both
We
at
were
your
both
place.
out of town. Yeah.
There ain't no help. We ain't
Yeah.
gonna call Jose. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
Keep butchering meat.
Get
Yeah.
back to the chicken coop.
Get back to the ball of balls. motherfucker. No, but that's great.
Other
Yeah.
than that, man, just so yeah, obviously very proud of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, Alex, I'm just happy to see that you're fulfilling what it portrays on Instagram, and that is what this guy shows off, man. Like, I mean, I hate to say that you're only a force to be reckoned with because of Bill, but that's just what it is, bro.
Oh,
Like,
I
Bill's
would
putting
not
you on the
be.
fucking
Yeah,
map.
I would
But
not
you're-
be where I
but
am
you're
if
leading up
Bill.
to it. Like, you know how easy it is. And I'm telling you right now, you know how easy it is for you to not live up to what Bill's providing you. And that's simply as husbandry, fucking neglect, like mites, like you are literally holding up the superior truth of a chondro.
Yeah.
Well,
Dude,
and that's what matters.
It's like knowing somebody to get a job, right? Oh,
Right.
you know somebody, you
It's
get a
who
job.
you know, it's not what you know.
Okay, it's who you know. But then once you get that job, you have to perform.
You have to hold it
Yeah.
down.
You have to establish yourself. And if you don't, you're fucking booted.
But how many motherfuckers don't even know the job they're applying for, but they listen? Like, okay, guess what? You got the job, but can you apply it?
Yeah.
And-
That's
and-
yeah,
and-
that's it
and
exactly.
bro, everyone starts from scratch. Everyone starts from a ground zero. And I try, you know what's fucking crazy? Even though it's like, it should happen more, but I'm glad it doesn't. I had a fucking text message from someone at 4:45 a.m. This is before Leo's even up, okay? And I'm mad. I'm fucking angry. And this person's like, hey, by the way, I follow you on Instagram. I also subscribe, so I'm gonna ask you a question. And obviously, you got my number off Morph Market, right? It sends me pictures of a fucking malnourished emerald, asking me for advice and telling me why he's avoiding a vet visit. I was like, how about you don't avoid a fucking freezer visit? Right? And I didn't tell him that, but I was like, respectfully, that thing is dying little by little. It's miserable. Put it to sleep. Okay? And I would think 4:45 a.m. And that's exactly what I said. Like, this thing's dying miserably. Put it down. I thought that was very cordial of me. MJ being MJ, right?
You could have said a lot
And
worse.
this person replied with, "What a bullshit response. Kevin McCurley would never tell me to say such a thing. It shows the amount of experience that you..." And it just went on this whole fucking rant on how...
I hope you'd fallen back asleep by then.
No, I went fucking... Are you kidding? No, I didn't fall back to sleep. Actually, I fucking screenshotted
It's
it.
on now.
Get the laptop out. Just start.
I got my green tea for the morning, motherfuckers!
Yeah, exactly.
No, but seriously, at the end of the day, it's
I would have gone back to sleep.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. Bill would have.
I wish I could have. But no, man, I mean, it's like, fuck, dude, like, so many people want advice, but are you willing to hear the advice? that it
Yeah.
takes? And a lot of this shit, like, thing with me, I don't know about you, Alex, but a lot of people come to me for advice when it's too late. And I'm like, dude, like, it's pretty deep at this point. Like, this is my advice. Like, don't try to save it. Like, it is what it is. And obviously people don't want to see, like, they don't want to hear that. But at the end of the day, like, you have to be realistic with yourself. And I feel like, obviously, the good thing about what your knowledge is with Bill, like, you obviously you fucked around with some imports a little bit. You got emeralds, like, you know what it takes to know if something's meant to go the distance.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell after.
He's
Like,
reading chondros in the middle of the summer. I mean, he's rolling the dice. He's loose.
Who does that in Texas?
He's
everybody.
loose. Look at him. He's loose. He really play.
Hey guys, seriously, please, if you enjoyed tonight's podcast, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Alex, best way to people to just kind of reach out to you would be Instagram, you would say?
Definitely Instagram, amazing arboreals. That's pretty much all I'm on.
And Bill, like, man, I'm not gonna lie, man, I have people I want to prioritize as far as purchases go, but the other people, right? Other than my MJ's priority list,
I know your list.
other people out there who are wondering, how the fuck can I even consider getting a Bill Stegall production? How do I go about it? What do I do? Break that down for them.
Yeah, Instagram is a great way as well. Phoenix. Reptile.
Is there an approach though? like I mean, let's kind of give some advice on how to approach on an inquiry.
It depends on the animal that they're looking for.
Send them a picture of cash.
You guys make me out to be such a chondro whore. I'm not that way. Okay.
Oh my god. Okay, at the end of the day, man, there's gonna be people in their feelings about not being invited to tomorrow's fucking shindig. So how can people actually be considered to come to the Bill Stegall fucking throwdown?
If anybody wants to come tomorrow night,
anybody
that's listening to this podcast,
wow,
they can come tomorrow night. The address is 14.
No, don't tell me that. No, dude, no, because I disagree, Bill. No, I don't think everybody should be invited.
All right, you can text me at 817.
No. Reach out to him at Phoenix Reptiles on Instagram. Don't give your number out.
Oh, I don't care if they have my
You know
fucking
what?
phone number.
I don't care about fat people who want a tire kick. Fuck you. All right? Don't waste my boy's time.
If you want to come, message me and we'll work it out.
At the end of the day, Texas is flexing. Shout out to Alex Warren. Shout out to Bill Stegall. This is a wrap for episode 390 in the books. Phoenix Reptiles, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you, man.
Love you, man.
You guys, honestly, you guys are the shit. I'm really happy
Thanks,
for you guys.
MJ.
Catch you guys at the top. I'll see you later.